Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And while I was off on my Disneyland adventure, Dragon was having an adventure all his own. That's right, folks. It's the next installment of Dragon's Baltimore Comic-Con Adventures 2018 edition. So, Dragon, this happened a couple weekends ago, but you're back and you're ready to regale us with some stories. Of course, last year, your big story was meeting Stefan Kaepernick.
Kapasic, yes.
Step. Yeah, I knew I wasn't saying that right.
Well, recently was on Better Call Saul.
Yeah. And you really kind of got buddy with him throughout the course of the 3 days, and it was a very heartwarming tale of fan interaction.
Yes.
And then, of course, you also met the great David Mazouz and gave him a copy of Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. You met Danny Rand himself, Iron Fist, Finn Jones.
Yes.
Any other highlights from that year, Dragon?
Also, Sean Pertwee, the actor who portrays
Sean
Alfred.
Pertwee, of course.
Yeah, a lot of good stories from last year. I think those guys were definitely the highlight. Again, Kapasic, you remember me all 3 days. Really swell guy. I can't say enough nice things about him. He has my vote for Craven if the MCU gets smart and they cast him. But we'll see what happens.
Hey, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go with another Better Call Saul alumni. All right, for Craven. All right.
Okay.
Because how good would Tony Dalton be as Craven?
Well, Tony Dalton, he'd be great, but I mean, there are other roles he could play, I'm sure.
I'm just saying, like, Tony Dalton just has that great mix of charisma and just, like, he will hunt you down and kill you.
He wouldn't be bad, though. He wouldn't be bad, but Kapasic, I think he wants Craven, and he'd be perfect for Craven. I mean, Craven, and he also wants to be, if they ever do a live-action Red Sun with the Russian Superman, he has my vote for that, too.
Fair enough.
Anyway, okay. So, I guess just basically the way we're going to break this down. So, I went to Comic-Con for 3 days. It was at the end of September. It was the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's going to be it's kind of the simple way we're going to be breaking this down. I'm going to regale you with the adventure of kind of going into the war that is the Baltimore Comic-Con.
Not quite as big of a war as a San Diego Comic-Con, but commendable nonetheless.
Bear in mind, San Diego, that's like the World War II of kind of Comic-Con.
Exactly.
You do that. That's like the Saving Private Ryan experience. Like if you believe me, you can have a plan on a scaled down Comic-Con. You go into that, it's like the opening of Saving Private Ryan, only a much happier outcome. That is credit, though. That is credit. Okay. All right, so I guess that said, I guess we should tell you what. Hold off before I have some images I'll be showing the folks at home. But before we get there, let me give you the kind of the preparation before, and we'll jump right into it.
Okay.
By the way, all these images are from the Baltimore Comic-Con, including this from this year. So of course you have Harley Quinn with the pop gun, which looks fantastic. And yeah. Of course, I won't be showing you every picture I have from the convention either. It's like most. Like I got like basically some good ones I thought would kind of help illustrate some points. So we'll get there when we get there. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so of course preparing for the Comic-Con, it's like something I've been preparing for a few months in advance, because basically like, what they do is on the Baltimore Comic-Con website you have like a little ticker that kind of clicks down from like 365 days, and basically you have like to the months to weeks to days to hours. It's a whole like little kind of doomsday clock, if you will. So it took some effort. And again, I had a plan, and the problem is that website will tell you the guest and the panels, but always to the last minute. And there are always these chances of cancellations and additions, and can all be very last minute. And being the seasoned Comic-Con goer that I am, I've gone for many years at Baltimore Comic-Con. It's you can plan so much, and last year was a big education, because the biggest thing I contended with last year, I had the plan going into this year, was book limits. Book limits was the kryptonite of last year, because I had the book limits were a new thing they've instituted. Basically, after a certain number of books, like let's say usually between 2 to 3 to maybe even 5, past that point, there was a surcharge, which you can imagine can be very costly if you're bringing a lot of stuff to get signed.
Mm-hmm.
So basically I planned it out, basically the bare minimum of like the best stuff, and of course there's like if you have multiple people with you, then of course you can get multiple things signed. Again, with that book limit in mind, I did as much research as I could. I went to the websites to figure out what the other kind of book limits have been, so I could try to, because they don't post that information on the website, which is what I really need going into it, the plan. So I have to approximate. I got to do some research. I checked in on some of the big guests that we're going to be getting into here. And by the way, folks, a little preface: Tiki does not know anything about this Comic-Con going into this time.
Nope.
You got
Completely
nothing.
spoiled this time around.
We learned our lesson from last time. So, it took some effort, took some digging through various boxes, kind of picking out the best stuff, loading kind of my rolling bag. Basically I narrow it down to a science. So there's this one big rolling bag instead of two rolling bags like previous years. The point is one big rolling bag. And I'm going to tease this here. So last year I wrote 3 thank you letters, 3 kind of little, handcrafted letters. This time I typed them up so I can basically save everybody some time and effort. But I typed up 3 fan letters and painstakingly went over them. So they are somewhat handwritten because I have a crappy printer. So I had to make sure like all the letters were legible and not smudged. And
Okay.
The point is, I drew like the little cover to the letters, so it's like the symbol of whatever thing these 3 mystery guests are from. So I'm going to tease that up. One's a huge mystery. The other 2 I'm going to tell you soon when we get things started here. So, of course, I don't go for the full costume deal, because if you wear a costume, you're going to get stopped at every turn for a picture, which is cool. But by the same token, you risk not being able to do all the stuff you want to do that day. So I do like to be festive the way I dress. So each night beforehand, I picked out exactly what I was going to wear. So getting into Friday, I have my nice Deadpool shirts all pressed and ironed and everything. I got my Deadpool belt from that award to Deadpool 2 for my Deadpool costume. So I got I'm thematically I'm there, down to my Deadpool socks. I'm all there. So bring 2 cameras because I'm going with some friends and basically kind of my troops, if you will. Kind of some guys help me man the territories. Guys who are crazy enough to say yes. They're like, hey, you want to go to Comic-Con? Sure. I brought this thing called a top loader. A top loader is like this big plastic. It's like something you put a baseball card in, only it's big and plastic, and you'd be able to put like a poster or prints. So you printed out kind of copies of original art pieces. And so I prepared. I got the site. I researched the book limits. I got everything on the sun. There are a few guests that I can kind of say right now. Some of the biggies that were there, not the big 3, but some of the biggies like Dan Slott, one of the end-all be-all Spider-Man writers. The guy who's probably written Spider-Man the most in Spider-Man's career. He was going to be there. The guy who kind of was there when I was starting getting the Spider-Man regularly as a comic. So it was the first time I was ever going to meet this guy. So he was going to be there. And I know he's a big deal, and he was going to have a huge line. So I had to get as much Dan Slott as I could. And unfortunately, I could not find out if he had a book limit or what was going on there. So I had to pick and choose from the best of like copious amounts of Spider-Man for him. Garth Ennis, the guy who is essentially kind of the keeper of the Punisher, if you will. Garth Ennis is the co-creator of Preacher, a series that many people are familiar with on television, based on a very acclaimed graphic novel series. And basically wrote the best of the Punisher. Like all the stuff you love about the Punisher, all the violent kind of black humor of the Punisher, that's all Garth Ennis. So all the great stuff about the Punisher is Garth Ennis. And lastly, the one I'm going to tease up here, Brian Azzarello. Brian Azzarello is a very profound Batman writer. The Joker movie they're doing now probably wouldn't exist without Azzarello kind of doing the famed Joker graphic novel, which kind of looks at like a very dark and grim kind of story centered around the Joker. Azzarello, he created the Thomas Wayne Batman. You remember the Thomas Wayne Batman?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, he did the whole... Let me rephrase. Jeff Johns created that, but he did the side story, the very awesome side story about that Batman, where it's basically you see like an adventure from the Thomas Wayne Batman's gritty, dark world, like what his take on it would be. And of course, we see like a really twisted version of the Joker, and let's just say it's really good. So I brought all those books to get signed by Azzarello. So okay, anyways, that's all the preparation. All the preparation aside, let's switch off here.
Okay.
Good?
All right. Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead and...
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we see Harley?
I'm seeing Harley.
Good. Okay, we're all good then. All right, let's get this party started. Okay, so Friday. So I have two men with me. I'm there Friday. Got two of my buddies with me. We head down. We do the age-old walk to the really well-constructed convention center. I love the architecture about this place. Really nice. The place is so good. It has like a pseudo convention center down the way. It's like a decoy almost. It's really funny. I walk from the decoy to the actual convention center. I go up. I get the printed out tickets and everything, get them scanned, get like the bracelet. They give you like a little armband bracelet, not an armband. They give you like a little paper bracelet you got to wear for all 3 days in my case because I got the 3-day pass. So famously, whenever you go to Comic-Con, you have the wait. The wait is basically you go upstairs, you get the little bracelet, and then you wait in kind of this. It's like they corral you in this pen. It's like sometimes there's a line, sometimes just they corral you like cattle. It's really.
Dragon, this sounds like it would give me so much anxiety.
I'll tell you this though, Friday I don't think you'd be that afraid. Friday, it's kind of again, it's the easy day. Let's say Friday's the easy day. Saturday's the day you'd worry. And when I was younger, the first time I went to Comic-Con Sunday, I just walked in Sunday. I didn't do all the various days. Just walked in casually Sunday, and it was great. Oh, the easy days you long for. So I had the age-old wait. I'm waiting for about, in the case of Friday goes from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and you got to be, in my case, I like to be there early. So I'm there like an hour, maybe an hour and a half early on Friday. So got the wait, kind of shooting this stuff with my friends. And of course, the cool thing about waiting is that, I get to go get some cool pictures of the people waiting in line in costume because they're not going anywhere. So let's ask them for a picture. Mm-hmm. So the first costume. Let's see, one of the first costumes I saw, and I'm weaving some narrative here, folks. You're going to see some payoff. The first of the various cosplays, really inventive cosplays, by the way, that I saw would be James Buchanan Barnes.
Oh, nice.
Now you're gonna see Bucky here a little later, but what's really cool about this is if you look on the back of Bucky, look at all the finer details. Like look at the book from the Winter Soldier manual from Civil War, and here's like a little Infinity War nod here. So if found, please return to Steve Rogers.
Oh,
wait hilarious! It's like because Bucky was the first to disappear in that movie, so it's like he's looking for Steve. Let's see. So again, I get that picture. Well, then again, this is the waiting area, by the way. This little section here, this carpeting. Basically, this floor here, this upper floor, is the panels. This is where all the panels are held, and basically, the further you go up is where it's like an Olympus sort of effect, where the ballroom is where all the celebrities gather for their panels.
Gotcha.
So let's see. So again, then we're out of the gate, so to speak. We're out of the gate. They lead us down there, they kind of lead us down this line. You walk in, and it's like kind of that. I had a newbie with me. One of my guys coming. One is someone who comes with me every Friday, and the other guy, he had never been to a Comic-Con, and I warned him, look, hey, listen, when you get in there, there's going to be some shock and awe. So brace yourself. He goes in there, and he was still recovering from the shock for the whole day. I was like, I warned you.
Oh God.
Anyway, he basically it's kind of fun and kind of snaky in its tail in a way because this guy kind of had the experience I had the very first time where he kind of came in with no expectations, not knowing what was going to happen, not knowing really anything about the thing. He kind of went in without a plan, just kind of following my lead. So it was kind of fun for me, vicariously, I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So first off, so again, knowing there was going to be a lot of lines. Of course, there's always going to be lines at Comic-Con. I go there. The two big lines right off the bat I want to hit before I reveal who one of the big guests is here. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you just to get it's a prime and ready here. Okay, so I was really excited this year because going into this, they announced two of my favorites. And these are two of the three letters, by the way. Two of my favorite all-time writing and illustrating teams on Batman were in town. It's been a while since I've seen them, and I was so excited. Scott Snyder.
Oh, Snyder and Scapula. Man, all right.
It's been a few years since I've seen
Okay.
these guys, and you know me. I mean, Scott Snyder, writing idol, and Greg Capullo. I mean, I think I
Yeah,
saw
Scott
Snyder.
Snyder, I mean, he more or less reinvented Batman for me.
Exactly. One of the again, he's the again my writing idol right here, Scott Snyder. He applies such great thought to Gotham and again, like the guy, he lives like a Gothamite. He came up with the whole New York philosophy with Gotham, where it's the whole Gotham will face you with its dark. Gotham will face you with its darkest nightmares, and if you're strong enough, if you can face your nightmares, you will either be driven insane by it or you'll be stronger for dealing with it. And again, Court of Owls, I think, is the best example of that in the story. And of course, from that point forward, I've been hooked, and I've indoctrinated Tiki in the ways of Scott Snyder as well. So
He has, he has.
and of course
I'm
the show.
slowly going through the Snyder catalog.
And the cool thing is, the show Gotham has essentially, I kind of noticed this when I was crafting my thank you letter for Snyder. I kind of referenced this in there, is that, Gotham has essentially referenced all of Snyder's stories from the 5 year run that he did with Capullo on that show, more or less. Kind of funny. And Greg Capullo, he's awesome. I recommend everybody check out the Fat Man on Batman podcast on these two guys. They're excellent. They're wealths of information, which I kind of was able to cite in some of those thank you letters. So, more on that later. Just remember, these two guys. These are the big white whales. The kind of the big 2 out of the 3 biggies here. So I had thank you letters for both of these guys, and more on that later. So remember that. So these guys. Scott Snyder is going to be there Saturday and Saturday only. Greg Capullo is there for all 3 days. So bear that in mind. Okay, that's going to be very important. Okay. So, moving on from these two guys, and I could go on all day about these guys. I'm going to try to keep it for like kind of the zenith of the story in my narrative here. So, of course, Snyder and Capullo, they kind of gotten off the Batman book at this point. And recently, and I mentioned this guy's name a bunch of times. Tom King is the guy who's currently writing Batman. He's written him for I guess at this point he's kind of in excess of 50 to, I guess at this point, like 55, 56 issues at this point. And he plans on doing 100. And the book couldn't be in better hands. Tom King is one of the everybody's going like gaga for Tom King, and it is absolutely warranted. The guy actually was a CIA operative in real life, and he brings that kind of that knowledge and that capacity to how he writes Batman, and it really shows. It's a Batman like you've never seen before, and I mean that. And again, seeing what he did with it, I mean, that's saying something. It's like keeping up the momentum of the ball that's been dropped. It hasn't been dropped at all, just bounced. So. The point is, Tom King kind of has filled the void of Snyder and Capullo at the Comic-Cons when Snyder and Capullo were not there. So imagine this. You're going to a convention where you have not only Snyder and Capullo, but you have Tom King there too. So it's like a trio of like the most high ticket talent at the Comic-Con. And I'm just going to mention it here. Frank Miller also returned this year.
Really? Crazy Frank Miller.
Yep, crazy Frank Miller. And like last year, I was unable to see him. I saw a panel of him last year, so I did not partake in the panel of him this year. But I knew he was there. Remember, Frank Miller's $100 per signature. So.
Oh God.
That's Frank Miller for you.
No, thank you. No, exactly. Just hard pass.
I kind of got the Frank Miller out of my system last year, which is taken in the panel. So, the point I just wanted to basically those are they had all the biggest names in Batman, just to put it simply. They had all the biggest names in Batman there this year. And so speaking of Tom King, I go to Tom King, I go to Azzarello first. And what they did is they corralled all the Batman talent: Snyder, Capullo, Tom King, Brian Azzarello. They corralled them all around this big table. Like it's like you venture around this table, and it's always poorly constructed how they do these things. Because you got to imagine it's like a spiral effect of fire with like a rectangle essentially. People are lined up, and they're the spiral, like they're the long lines stemming from like each corner of the table. And again, people are there on like a scheduled time. So the point is, I find out Greg Capullo isn't going to be there till 3:00. Thing starts at 1, so Capullo is not going to be there till later. Tom King. He shows up, and of course, Tom King looks like this. This is really cool, by the way. So you see Batman and Catwoman here. They actually look like this in the comics. This is like a really, really straight from the panel cosplay here, and it looks great. Really good kind of little fan nod. I'm sure Tom King really appreciated.
Nice.
As you can probably tell, very inspired by the Nightmare Batman we saw in Batman v Superman. So, because Tom King, he did the whole big Batman Catwoman engagement story, and that's what this is from directly. So Tom King, by the way, is a really nice guy, and he's a guy where I have like tons and tons of. Again, I have at least 50 books from Tom King that I'm still kind of working on getting them all signed. And he has a book limit that you could find out, and this one was true, where it's like two books free. You get
Okay.
two signed, three, and I got three guys. That's at least 9 signatures done right, So I
Oh,
pointed just to summarize a little bit here. So I get Tom King and I get Brian Azzarello signed, but it's kind of a long wait for both of these guys, kind of back to back. And Azzarello, I just kind of I bit the bullet. I got them all signed, and Azzarello had a charge for every book though, because Azzarello's been helping out Frank Miller. I think he's been a little high on his own supply lately, but that's just my own 2 cents.
God. All
But
right.
the point is, Azzarello, he again, talented guy, but like for instance, they're charging he charged like $10 for the new Batman book they're releasing because it's popular and it was recalled, which means it's extra valuable. They recalled it because of some controversial artwork in the new Batman book. So anyway, that's Azzarello. Okay, so my point is, so I get those two guys done. And Tom King, it's always a delight to see him. I made sure on the first day when I saw him, I get my favorite stuff signed by him, so I could like tell him about it. So I get like these 2 issues of it's a double date between Lois Clark and Bruce and Selena because they do like this double date before the
I think
wedding.
you've told me about this one before.
And I tell you, it's like some of the again, it's my favorite, one of my favorite of the stories that he's done. And also, there's this annual. It's like a one shot. It's basically about it's kind of up with Batman and Catwoman. Essentially, it's essentially what it is. It's like the life lived between Batman and
Oh
Catwoman,
man.
and it's glorious. And Tom King said, "Oh, he agreed with me." He's like, "Oh yeah, it's my favorite too." I mean, my God, it's some of the best stuff I've written. Yeah. So again, really nice guy. So while this is happening, I kind of broke basically in all the lines because there's a lot of waiting and there's a lot of like taking a chance like having someone hold your place in line so you can do something else. So I saw Will Wheaton. So Will Wheaton was one of the other guests that was there
Ooh.
this year. Now, Will Wheaton, I see. I didn't really see Will Wheaton for me. My grandmother is a huge fan of Star Trek: The Next Generation. She loves Star Trek: Next
Right,
Generation
right.
and The Big Bang Theory and such. And the point is, I figured Will Wheaton. So it's kind of a little gift I got her. So I got an autograph of Will Wheaton to get it framed and everything for her.
Oh,
So.
that's nice.
I didn't tell her about it or anything, so we'll see. So so the point is like I got a little something from Will Wheaton. I met the guys and I said, oh man, I hope that you hope to see you in the last season of Big Bang Theory. Keep up the great work, all that stuff. So Will Wheaton, nice guy, just again very very not busy because let's just say he's been overshadowed by the other guests they had this year, which we'll get to.
Okay.
Okay, so kind of moving forward a little bit here. Then we go to Dan. I go to Dan Slott, and Dan Slott on day one was a no-show. Information I would have liked to have, so I could have left the Dan Slott books at home.
Right, right.
So Dan Slott was a no-show, and again, he was one of the biggies. So again, I was gonna. My initial plan was to hit all the big guys, all the big lines on day one, so the rest of the week would go on very simply, except for Saturday, which would have Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. That's the idea, right?
Oh,
So Dan Slott was a no-show. So then I go to Mike W. Barr. Mike W. Barr is a guy who's never been there before, who was very excited to meet because he's written some of the best Ra's al Ghul stories. He didn't create Ra's al Ghul, but he wrote basically one of the best Ra's al Ghul stories you've ever read called Son of the Demon. This is where people get the idea for Damian Wayne from. This is Batman has to work with Ra's al Ghul, and this is the famous story where Ra's al Ghul makes Batman marry Talia as like it's like part of like an ancient tradition where if you're going to team up with me on this, you have to marry my daughter. And it's like it's basically where the whole Talia Batman relationship comes from. It's like the kind of the zenith of it, and it's a really good story. So I was able to meet him, and it was really nice. So speaking of Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul, and there is a theme here, so pay attention. There's going to be a big payoff to this on Sunday. So again, remember Ra's al Ghul,
okay.
Talia al Ghul, remember all of that. So.
Noted.
Speaking of Ray Chantelli at the moment, I see someone who I wanted to see for the last 2 years, and unfortunately, 2 years ago, Denny O'Neil. I meet Denny O'Neil. Denny O'Neil, of course, one of the most historic. If there's a Mount Rushmore of Batman, Denny O'Neil is on that Mount Rushmore. He's the guy who, basically, we don't have 89. We don't have 89. We don't have a large portions of what makes Batman the animated series work. We don't have Ra's al Ghul. We don't have the Joker as we know and love him without Denny O'Neil. Denny O'Neil was the writer who basically made Batman a detective in the 70s. The 70s detective Batman, one of the most famous runs. Like in my thank you letters to Snyder and Capullo, I keep comparing him famously to You guys are the next O'Neill and Adams, Denny O'Neill and Neil Adams. Neil Adams, the artist, Denny O'Neill, the writer. Denny O'Neill, famously, he killed off Jason Todd in the comics, and he killed off Jason Todd, and he created Ray Shuggle. So I met him, and here's the thing: I have the famous Joker comic. Joker's Five-Way Revenge. It was basically the big reintroduction of the Joker. The Dark Knight is kind of based off a lot of that. I believe we mentioned this during the Dark Knight commentary. When we were doing that, we in the background, I think I told you that like they consulted with Neil Adams over the Joker's Five-Way.
Okay.
Like this is the famous cover where it's like Batman on the playing card with the giant Joker behind him. That's the comic I got signed by Neil Adams in previous years. So this year, I was able to get Denny O'Neill to sign it.
Oh.
Again, like he had like the 2 years ago, he had a death in the family, and he had to go from the convention, which is why I missed him to get that signed. And he wasn't there last year, so he's back this year. And I'm going to rock you with a Denny O'Neill story here. So, Denny O'Neill, again, it's been years since I've seen the guy, and I had gotten a few things signed by him before. Really, nice guy, and you got to remember, Denny O'Neill, I mean this in the nicest ways. He's not a spring chicken. He's been around. He's a big name in the business. He's been around for a while. His nickname is the Professor of Comics. He's like the professor. More accurately, because he was the guy who wore the turtlenecks in the '70s and everything. And people just thought he looked like a professor. He wore the jacket and everything. And Denny O'Neill. I'm kind of used to Denny O'Neill because I see him all the time in like the behind the scenes features and the documentaries and everything. Sometimes he has a mustache. Sometimes he does not. So I see Denny O'Neill, and I'm in line for him, and he's like a delay because he hasn't come back yet. But anyway, he comes back, and Denny O'Neill, he's like a way I've never seen him before. He was sad. He was very sad, and I learned because I didn't know this 100%. I think I might have heard a blurb about this, but I kind of forgotten about it. That death in the family may have been this. I don't know if it's the same case, but Denny O'Neill, he had lost his wife. Years, I think it was last year. So I don't know if I may or may not have been the same death in the family from previous years, but he lost his wife, and I had no idea about that. And of course, like a few days to maybe a week before the Comic-Con, I told you about this too. Norm Brayfogle had passed away too, one of the great Batman artists from the '90s.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
And so Denny knows, hey, Mr. O'Neill, how's it going? He says, oh, well, it's been better. And, he's kind of mentioned, he's telling me this is the first convention without his wife. And the fact that, and I also learned, again, it sounds like he just found out that day about Norm Brayfogle, and my heart went out to him.
Oh, really?
And again, like I saw, it's like seeing your hero wounded. And and this is going to sound stupid and corny, but I said to him, because the only thing I could think of, and I mean this too, is I said to him that, well, you know what, Mr. O'Neill, Norm Brayfogle, before he left this world, he gave us one of the best looking Batman comics I've ever seen, with 10,000 clowns. It was just the Batman Beyond story he did before his stroke, which of course a few years later would lead to his death. So Norm Brayfogle, he just did this great. Basically, it was the first time they really brought back the Batman Beyond and kind of mixed the comics, the Norm Brayfogle style, with kind of the animated style that I grew up with, and it really wowed me. And I've been kind of telling everybody that since Norm Brayfogle's passing, I just felt that if there's any time that's going to be appropriate, it is this moment.
Right. So
I told him that, and I don't know if I thought it was maybe kind of it's the only uplifting thing I could think of. It's really it was kind of a moment,
Yeah, I hear you.
My heart went out to him. I really did. Denny O'Neill, again, one of the the reason we have Batman as we have him, know him, and love him today. We don't have the world's greatest detective without Denny O'Neill. Like the Batman of the '40s would have gone by the wayside due to because after that we had the '60s Batman, all that. Because again, like '70s detective Batman brought back the greatest qualities of the '40s and kind of made it better and better as it went on. Without Denny O'Neill, that's not possible. So it was good to see him after all those years. So let's see. So following that. Okay, so following that, I had another, just a more uplifting story. I remember that Bucky, the James Buchanan Barnes I was mentioning earlier, Winter Soldier.
Sure.
Of course,
Yeah.
the Winter Soldier. I come up to, it's a her, by the way. So it's a girl dressed as the Winter Soldier, which is cool. She had like the mask and everything, so she looked. She was like every iteration of the Winter Soldier done right. Like the mask and everything, and the book from Civil War it was excellent. So I ran into her again, and when I ran into her, I don't know if this is just a friend of hers and they just met up. I don't know. It might have been just completely coincidental, but I bumped into her again, and let's see, she had a friend.
Oh God.
So you can imagine, I was delighted to no end by this because I saw, and then this is from the front. This is the same Winter Soldier, and of course
Oh,
Captain America. And I lost. It's like, oh my god, can I get a picture, of you guys, please? So I got a picture of him. It was great, and I was kind of gushing, saying, oh my god, I saw you earlier. And like I was telling you, I love Winter Soldier, and you, and basically I kind of gushed for a moment with this Captain America. And saying, yeah, I love the MCU's take on Captain America too. And then there's like a beautiful little moment. Sometimes when you go to the conventions, you have people who take their cosplays seriously, and I love them for it, where they have business cards. And Nelson and Murdoch had a business card like 2 years, like I guess like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago. They had like a business card where it was basically Matt, Karen, and Foggy in costume, and like Matt Murdoch gave me gave me a business card. So like Franklin, Matt Murdoch and Franklin Nelson, avocados at law on the back, and of course Nelson Murdoch on the front. It was delightful. And there's going to be a cosplayer later on who has a business card. And this thing just completely caught me by surprise. Afterwards, kind of having a moment with this Captain America here, it's like, oh my god, yes, it's just one of the. It's like what made me love that character because before it was just sort of like, oh, he's just kind of America's hero, but now it's just like, oh my god, like that's such a compelling thing that they've done in the MCU, et cetera, et cetera. And he gave me this card, and I was wowed by like, oh my god. Gave me this card and it said, and I didn't read it until I got home. At least I didn't read it carefully until I got home because I looked at it. I was like, oh my god, Captain America just gave me a card. How wonderful is that? But on the card, it said Colorado Captain America. So apparently, this Captain America is from Colorado, and he visits children's hospitals as Captain America. And I thought that was so delightful.
oh, nice, nice.
And I'm saying, like, it's a
Yeah.
magic little moment right there. It's like, oh my god, not only like this guy's like the cat, looks like has the cat costume I dream of having. And not only that, he's doing something. He's doing something to honor that character by it, and that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right, so let me tell you a little tradition I have at Comic-Con. Every year, I've had it for various years. I've gotten a lot of art done, so I've had a lot of original artwork done. So don't
Yeah, I
worry.
remember this. Yeah.
I bought some prints. Don't get me wrong, and I've met some really great artists, and there's some I'm familiar with. And there was an artist last year who really caught my eye. His name was Mike Mayak. Mike Mayak is this? He's a watercolor artist. What he does is he kind of paints these adorable kind of these kind of adorable, not chibi per se, but kind of like they look like they could be like Hummels or precious figures almost of these characters. They're adorable, and they're done entirely in
Uh-huh.
watercolor, so they look fantastic. And he has this comic. It's Cleopatra in Space. I guess everybody check that out if you haven't. I keep meaning to, but again, you go to Comic-Con with a budget in mind, so I couldn't buy all the books there, But anyways, Mike Mayak, he was an artist that stuck in my mind from last year. So from the previous year, I had a few artists in mind that if I see these artists again, I'm going to get them to do a sketch. And here's the tradition. I have a character from Deadpool. There's a character from Deadpool, from my favorite run of Deadpool, the Gail Simone run of Deadpool, named Sandy Brandenburg. She looks a little something.
Yep.
Looks a little something like. Yes, she looks a little something like this. Now, what you see before you is something I had done by Riley Brown. Now, Riley Brown is the definitive Deadpool artist, the best of the best of Deadpool artists. Sandy's only been drawn by a very less than a handful of people. Like I want to say there have been 3 people who have ever drawn Sandy Brandenburg. I've changed that, bear in mind, because I've had artists do other renderings of her, but there are 3 people who've officially drawn Sandy Brandenburg. Riley Brown is one of those people. And Riley Brown, again, if you ever look up what a regular image of Deadpool would be like, chances are it's a Riley Brown sketch. It's some of the best. I'm always proud of this. I have Riley Brown's. Again, this is basically why I go to the best artists I find, and I ask them to do a commission. And the commission is of this character who is essentially Deadpool's secretary, bookkeeper. She's not in love with them. She's She's just kind of this really cool, very proactive, very useful character. She has some really nice emotional moments with Deadpool, but by the same token, she's kind of funny, very attractive. So it's a simple character to draw, but the challenge I pose to each artist is I give them some reference material. I tell her what she looks like, tell her she's the secretary, and that you somewhere in the design, come up with it however you please. Just working the Deadpool into the image somehow. So you'll see in this, of course, there's a lot of Deadpool in this, obviously, because Riley Brown has drawn him. But there's like a Deadpool mouse pad. She's at a desk. You got a little Agent X, Agency X. Like, there's a lot of Gail Simone in this image, and I love it. So, and of course, there's like another example of Riley Brown's work, just kind of for sake of fun here, right? I had this done by him in 2016 after the Deadpool movie came out. This is Vanessa from the Deadpool movie.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just kind of some original art that I've compiled. So I didn't do as much prints this year because I mainly got like all original art that I could. So and of course strategically so, because believe me, that can run you a lot of money if you get a lot of original art done. So
I bet, yeah.
Let's see. So getting back to so the point is, remember this face because I had on the whole I had 3 Sandy Brandenburg sketches, original sketches done for the convention this year. This is what the barometer of that.
I know that face.
Yes. Anyway, so I go to Mike Mayak. So you'll see what eventually these look like. So I go to Mike Mayak, and thankfully, because last year I wanted him to do it, but a lot of times the great artists, if you discover them like on Sunday, obviously they can't make you a masterpiece in a day in like a number of hours before the thing is about to end. Obviously, it's not the best condition to do a sketch or a painting by. So I go to Mike Mayak on day 1 of the convention this time. I got a plan. I go to him first. I give him the reference material. Say, okay, can you do this? And I work up a deal with him, and yes. And again, his watercolor work is amazing, and it looks something. I'm going to give you an example of what his work looks like. Prepare to be astounded. Supergirl. Remember in the first season of The Flash, you saw the Supergirl crossover with The Flash, haven't you?
Yeah.
This is that moment from that episode where Flash brings her ice cream. And also, this is like something new that he had that I did buy a few prints for him because I just love his work so much. And this is that kind of style I was talking about. And Wonder Woman.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Of course, Wonder Woman in the comics, they have this hilarious gag where Wonder Woman likes ice cream, so they kind of did that here. And it ended up in the Wonder Woman movie. Remember the whole, like, did you make this yourself? No, it's just ice cream.
Yeah.
All of that there. So, let's see. So the point is, I go to Mike Mayak, and I wanted like a Sandy Brandenburg sketch done in this style, being the point. So then I had a massive surprise when I was there, and this is a very last-minute thing, and again, this is like so last-minute, it's not on any guidebook, it's not on any map, it's like a leap of faith that was like on the website, and I thought it might have been like a clerical error. David Bullock, my favorite of the artists I've ever encountered at Comic-Con. Dave Bullock, I mentioned this guy's name 100 times. He directed New Frontier for anyone who has seen that movie. He's directed a lot of Spectacular Spider-Man episodes. The guy's a fantastic artist. His work looks something like this. Pretty nice. So yeah, I bought a lot of prints from him. I've had some sketches. Here's the thing: I've never had like an honest to goodness sketch done by Dave Bullock. I had like a little business. He had these business cards. He did a little mini sketch of Jim Gordon for me. I was so grateful for it. He did it for like free, no charges. It was awesome. Because I love his work so much. And the cool thing about Dave Bullock is he has various through his animation career, he's been all over the place in animation. He's done things for Disney. He's done things for DC. He's done Justice League. He's done Superman, the animated series. He did some conceptual work, and he's done Kim Possible. He's done Legend of Tarzan, and so he's done a lot of stuff. And you can buy actual pieces, like actual storyboards and actual storyboard concept art from him, as well as these great prints like this. And I've always wanted to do a sketch of Sandy Brandenburg ever since the first time I saw him. And he's always been busy because he's very busy, really popular artist. Usually he fills up every time I get to him. So again, day 1, just by happenstance, I walk by, I'm like, oh my God, you're here. And I felt so guilty because last time, it's been 2 years since I've seen Dave Bullock, and I felt so guilty because I had him hold some art for me. and
Uh-huh.
I was going to buy that art. And but he had left early, and I don't know for what reason, but he had left early, and again, I felt bad because I left him in the lurch because he was holding something for me to purchase, and I wasn't able to come back to because I was seeing Haley Atwell that year, and I just got caught
Oh,
up in the
right,
line.
right, yeah.
And it's not that I didn't come back. I came back, but this table was gone. It was on the last day, so he just left, and I felt guilty about it. But luckily, just the way. So the first thing I did, I kind of, whether it was out of guilt or just because I just wanted this thing, sorry, 1 second here. Let me get to it. There we go. Uh, I bought this piece from 2 years ago.
That's pretty badass, man.
So Tiki, look at this. This stationery was actually from Disney. Stationery
Right,
from Disney.
right. I got to admit, that's pretty impressive.
And in the past, like I didn't want to bore you with it, but I mean I've also gotten some Kim Possible sketches and some original stuff from years before. But this is like the thing I got this year that again I meant to get this. I had him hold this for me 2 years ago, and I was able to finally get it from him.
Oh,
So
oh God.
that's really cool. And there's also a little bit of stuff on the back too. But again, for the most part, this is again from the TV series from Tarzan, which again is a really great series. I had a lot of fond nostalgia for that series, and of course Kim Possible. So that's the artwork I've always kind of jumped to with them. And again, it's like there's so much great stuff you can get from Dave Bullock. So I can't say enough nice things about him. So the point is, I was lucky. I was amazed I was able to. I asked him to do a sketch of Sandy Brandberg because I've been dying for him to do that ever since the beginning for years now. And I thought, well, I guess I'm never going to get that sketch, which is why I went to Mayak first. And then he was able to put me in and say, hey, listen, are you filled up? He says, no. He says, okay, can I get a sketch done? He says, yeah, sure. So he recognizes me from various, from the many years before, and just it was nice. The point is, so again, right now I have two out of the three sketches are commissioned at this point. So again, they're being worked on. We're going to see what those look like. It's like one of those Bob Ross things. We're going to see it at the end. We're going to see what
right.
All right. So speaking of artists, and this is kind of fun here. So I have a regular artist who I've had things done for myself and a couple things done for my grandmother. I had like these two paintings put on, not paintings. I had these two sketches done for her. One with Captain America because she's also very into the MCU's take on Captain America, and one from Frozen because it's like this Christmas painting of Frozen. It's a colored sketch, which is why I keep saying painting. It's it's a Christmas tree with Anna and Elsa and Olaf, and it's really cute. It's really adorable. So Ken Hunt, that's the artist's name. So Ken Hunt's usually my regular artist. He went to my comic shop during a few kind of landmark sales, and I kind of ran into him, a really talented guy, really nice guy. He's done work for me, and he's excellent. And of course, he and I have a working relationship. So I kid you not, this is what happened. So. Again, I have this newbie with me and my other friend here, so we're going there. We're going to. I just kind of happened to see Ken Hunt, and I wasn't going to get anything done by him. I was just going to walk up and say hello, and I walk up to Ken Hunt and says, "Hey, how's it going?" He recognized me instantly. He says, "Hey, you, here's a print." And I just gave. He had these limited edition prints that he had a whole bunch of. And just imagine if you're like a guy who just has no idea what's going on here, and you're having me says, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Have a free print." And it just thanks. It's just like the instant recognition. I was kind of delighted by that.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're really nice too. Like they're Deadpool prints, and usually he doesn't do a lot of Deadpool stuff. So it's like cause usually I'm the only one asked to do Deadpool sketches, and this was like an original one. It's just kind of done. It's like out of a limited number, so it's kind of neat. And he had he was just giving them out, so my friends got it too as well. So that was kind of neat. And also, I want to show you this too. I've been dying to show you this at some point. I finally had an opportunity to here. Let me show you some other. I've had these little sketch cards. They're little cards. I've had other things done. Like again, I've told you I've had big prints and big paint, big kind of big size sketches. But he's also done these little cards for me. And I want to show you what a few of those look like. I think you're going to appreciate them. So there's Sandy. There's the Sandy Brandenburg sketch card in color. There's good old Norma Bates. There's Agent Carter. There's Outlaw, the other Deadpool character from the Gail Simone run. I really like. There's that Jim Gordon card from Dave Bullock right there.
Right, right.
There's a Ken Hunt's rendition of Star-Lord.
Nice.
And there's the Nelson Murdoch card I was telling you about.
Nice, nice.
And just a little closer look here. There's it's a little fuzzy, but just if you want a little bit of a closer look, there's Sandy and there's
Oh
Norma.
man, that's awesome. That's anything with Bates Motel Dragon, any sort of Bates Motel memorabilia, I'm all over.
Well, I know the next things I'm gonna ask him for are Jessica Jones and Kim Wexler. At some point, I'm gonna ask him to do Kim Wexler. I meant to ask him to do
Oh, Kim Wexler. Yes, yes.
one of these days. I'm gonna give him to do Kim Wexler. It's just gotta wait until like basically when he's at. I kind of wait for him to go to my. I could. Here's the thing. I could email him and have him do it for me at any time, but I just kind of wait for him to kind of be there in person to do it. It's basically like imagine this: you go to your comic book shop and you have an artist like do some work and you shop in the meantime, and by the time you're done, it's ready. That's kind of the preferable way of doing it. Okay, so now let's get to the big meat and potatoes of it all here. Okay, so let's see. Let's see, right. All right. Also, so to give him a little shout out here, I did see good old Mark Andrenko.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to see and yeah, I was able to see Andreyko, which again I was really excited to see him because of course we know him from movie fights, but the main thing I really love him for is he's a huge Wonder Woman fan. He was able to write Wonder Woman 77, the comic, and the thing I really loved was the crossover he did between Batman 66 and Wonder Woman 77, which is an excellent crossover. I highly recommend it. And Andreyko's been doing some other stuff like the Archie crossover with Paul Dini. It was there's a Harley, basically it's Harley and Ivy meet Archie. And it was this really hilarious story. Basically, they kind of get switched with Betty and Veronica in the Archie universe, and it's quite hilarious. So, I learned some really interesting tidbits from Andrenko. I learned some interesting tidbits about like they many a times they have to change the likenesses in the comics when they're doing the '60s. The '60s comics. They have to make certain. Like for example, Ra's al Ghul Ra's al Ghul is in the Wonder Woman 77 crossover with Batman. He's actually styled after Christopher Lee, but they don't have the rights to Christopher Lee. But that's what it is. So I kind of learned some insider information on that one. Like, oh my god, you're right, that is Christopher Lee. Basically, they style like a lot of the characters. Basically, most of the Batman characters are styled after real actors, whether they 100% are them or not. They're really styled after look like they're from the 60s. So also he plugged a thing he was doing with the Schmoes. It's called he plugged the movie trivia Schmodown. So I guess people check that out if you can. Movie trivia Schmodown.
It's basically like movie trivia meets wrestling. I've checked it out from time to time. It's fun.
Right. Okay, so as all of this is going on, as all of this is going on, let me just go back to here. Okay, so let's get to the Capullo of it all for the day here. So, Greg Capullo. So I'm in line for
Is
Greg
day
Capullo.
one kind of winding down, Dragon?
Yes. Day one's almost. Basically, after Capullo, we're going to be done day one here. So, okay, so Greg Capullo is the big meat and potatoes of it all here. So basically, Andrenko happens after Capullo, but let's just focus on Capullo here. So I go to Capullo, and I have my thank you letter to Capullo, and what I've drawn on the front is his symbol. He has like a symbol that's basically his facial hair. With sunglasses. That's essentially what his logo is. I put that on the front of the thank you letter. I said, it takes a Batman to draw a Batman. That is you, sir. You've added so much character to Batman. That's a cool thing. He added like a character to the streamlined design. It's done really marvelous about his art style. So the point is, so I read this thank you letter, and I'm in line to see Capullo. And I did some research, and the research basically for Capullo, for Tom King, for most of all the big names are under this website, Sketched Art. And that's the guys who sponsor them. They have this table, they sponsor them, they have all this. They have basically they're trying to sell the artwork. They're trying to basically get the artist the money. It's like being sponsored by a company essentially. So they're sponsored by Sketched Art, and you go on Sketched Art, you can see what the book limits are and how it works. So it literally outlines exactly what I want to know. Bear that in mind. It outlines precisely what I want to know, and according to that, and this is what I plan for the whole 3 days. Snyder has like Snyder's 2 to 3 books free. Capullo, 2 books free, right? And beyond that, it will get to the $5 range. Anything else is $5, which again, if you budget it out correctly, it'll be perfect. And I have like a number of books. I basically want to get all the books I have left, which is not a lot, signed by them from their 5-year loan, which basically is like the last story or 2 that they did. So,
Dragon, you'll never cease to amaze me with your ambition when it comes to getting autographs, man.
Here's what I am. So I'm seeing Capullo, and then I called this the Sketched Art Battle Part 1.
Oh, God, Part 1. Okay, okay.
So the Sketched Art Battle essentially goes as this, okay? So I go to see Capullo. I have that information already on lockdown. I have my plan all organized and everything. I got my guys in line. I'm all there. I'm all ready. I'm like, it's not a huge wait in line. Like, I struck it just right. It's 3 o'clock. The day is going by. It's 3 o'clock. I'm there. And then this girl in line. They have these really attractive girls in the sketched art, basically the helper ladies. They're these beautiful girls in the sketched art T-shirts that come around, and I have no idea what they're doing here. They're basically asking, how many books you got? And I again, I'm all primed and ready here. I got 2 books for Mr. Capullo. You know, without saying all that, I got 2 books, and he says, because I'm expecting to hear 2 books. That's great. She says, that's great. And okay, I'm hearing exactly what I want to hear right now. And then she says, that'll be $10. Like, wait, what? So apparently, again, this is the beginning of the battle here. I'm told that information, again, I'm being told that, no, it's $5 per book period. Well, no, you go online. I'm telling her that's not right. It says, on your website, it says that like the first 2 are free. It says, no, but I don't. Again, she doesn't know what to tell me, and this is the beginning of the battle here. I'm battling incompetence for these 3 days. By the way, I'm gonna let you in on that. I have 2 enemies during this whole convention, Tiki: the sketched art people, and what I call the red shirts.
Ooh, so the red shirts.
Oh, the red shirts, Tiki. That's the big battle. That's the real. Okay, the point is the sketched art people. The sketched art people, they're telling me information that is not correct, that I could prove is not correct.
Right, right.
And again, this information is again telling me that my whole plan, the whole thing that I planned for with Capullo, for 3 days, I can get 2 books signed. If I bring enough people, if I bring the right amount of people, I can get all my Capullo books signed for free, essentially. And I'm being told day 1 that's not. So again, the guys in line, I dismiss them as like, hey guys, just go around and have some fun. Basically, I'm going to get the 2 books I have signed. Again, there's definitely a point of pride in all this, and there's a point of regrouping. I got to figure out like a new amount. So I'm getting like I get 2 books or so signed by Capullo, roughly like $10. And because it's not a big wait in line and everything, so okay, well, I'll get this. I got basically the books I brought for day 1. I got to reorganize my whole strategy because I have like a number of what's important, what gets signed first,
Right.
I have some books that are signed by Snyder. I need to get those Snyder books signed by Capullo so I can get both of their names on. You follow me?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm battling those. So day 1, basically. Friday has a bit of like a gut punch at the end of it here. So I'm punched in the gut by the sketched art people. But I see Capullo, I give him it, and Capullo remembers me. How delightfully. And Capullo remembers me. Oh, hey, you, I remember you. He says, yeah. And I gave him a letter saying, Mr. Capullo, I don't want to take up much of your time. The thank you, it's all in here, everything I want to say. I don't want to hold. I want to be kind of courteous. I don't want to be one of those guys that like kind of takes all day in line while all these rest of these guys are killing themselves. You're like, oh my God. Because again, there are no chairs at Comic-Con. That's the other kryptonite of Comic-Con. There are no chairs.
No. Oh boy. No. That would not be good for me.
I'm going to blow your mind with a factoid at the end of all this, Tiki. Just bear that in mind. So not the.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, like, considering that I had to leave the fireworks because I couldn't stand for half an hour. No, that's never going to Comic-Con, man.
I'm gonna make your feet bleed at the end of this. Just by telling you something. So, okay. Let me I'm gonna set this up, and this is the end. I'm gonna set this up, and we'll be at the end of Friday here. So,
okay.
I got to tell you about the red shirts. The red shirts are the helper people at Comic-Con. These are not the sketched art people. These are whole different antagonists. The red shirts are these people that some are well-meaning, others incompetent. They range from incompetent to nice to, on the whole, chasing their tails because no one is informed of the same detail. You ask one. I learned this the hard way because they're called Minions. The actual name is Minions, but they change the shirt color every year. So I think Minions is the proper term. They have literally Minions is written on the shirts. I'm not making that up. And they have like a theme color. When Kevin Smith was there a few years back, it was purple to match the movie's color. It was purple and yellow. In this case, it's like red and white. So the red shirts, they're chasing their tails, and I'm thinking, okay, so I've been a little defeated by Capullo here, and all the base of the celebrities and the Batman tails all by the same area. So okay, I'm gonna shake off Capullo here. I'm taking my little newbie friend. I'm saying, okay, you know what? Because I can't see all the celebrities here, I'm gonna see Lucifer's mom from the show Lucifer, Trisha Helfner. I'm going to say hi to her because it's like I've done that before. As I told you with Finn Jones, I just walked up to the guy and I said hello because I didn't want to get the selfie and the whole thing there.
Yeah, sure.
Because those autographs and photo ops can be really expensive sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to say hi to a few of the celebrities, and I had a big one I wanted to say hello to. But here's the thing: so day one, after that Capullo gut punch, I'm told by one of these red shirts. And basically there's like a guard at each of these posts in front of like the celebrity booths. And it's like it says, "Hey, what are you doing?" It says, "Get an autograph." "No, I'm just gonna go say hi." "You can't do that." Like, what? I'm told I can't. I'm told I can't do it. What? I'm just gonna say hi. It says, "No, I'm sorry."
Oh no!
So I'm told this on day one. So obviously,
no!
And then I miss. Then I find okay, so I'm on the way out here. I'm on the way out after that, and that's going to come back. And I then find out Garth Ennis, who I mentioned before. I went to Garth Ennis, Godfather of the Punisher. I was going to meet him because he was a big deal, and Garth Ennis is only going to be there for Friday and Saturday. And I find out Garth Ennis was there, and literally I see Garth Ennis. This is funny. I see Garth Ennis, and I'm bending down the books and everything else. And Garth Ennis, he's leaving because I find out that no, he leaves at 5 o'clock, and the thing closes at 7. By the way, it's 5 o'clock. And Garth Ennis, he leaves. Who shows up for an hour at a comic? He's from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I find out was when he was here. Who shows up for an hour?
God.
I mean, that's the thing. Who shows up for an hour? So anyway, so he left, and it's like I have to get Garth Ennis now. I have to get Garth Ennis tomorrow, or it's bust essentially.
Oh.
On the whole, so again, basically getting to the end here. So I scat out some merchandise, so basically I can make all the purchases on Sunday. So again, I gotta spend smart here. So again, because I've spent a little bit much on. So I'm at the end of the day here, so I'm scatting out some merchandise, some Legos specifically. I'm looking to get some Legos of the Defenders. That's one of my big items this year. I've been collecting some Defenders Legos. Like I have Daredevil and have Punisher. I want to get the rest of them. So I go home, and this is the return trip. This is getting us into the next day. So I return home. I'm contemplating Snyder and Capullo, as you see here. This fan package. This fan package was an exclusive event for $100. You could basically go to an exclusive panel, which kind of bummed me out. They had like this one exclusive panel that you couldn't just go to like in previous years. Snyder and Capullo, for years since I've known them, I could walk up to them without a line in sight, and now the $100 VIP thing.
You're right, yeah.
I gotta tell you though, I feel silly. And I tell you, I put this in the letters too. I've said, you know what, guys, this is going to sound corny, but I'm proud of you guys. I want to emphasize how proud I am of their success. Absolutely, because I've seen them grow. I've literally seen them grow from the beginning of their success to where it is now. I just feel so proud of them.
Yeah.
So,
boys.
Absolutely, I'm proud of the boys. So the point is, I'm contemplating, because now it's harder. You have to get them at the convention. You can't just get them online in advance, because I waited till the last minute here thinking, again, Capullo is going to be there 3 days, which means they're going to do that signing, the whole book limit thing. And after that gut punch, I'm thinking, oh no, am I going to have to do the $100 VIP thing just to see these guys and get things signed? Essentially, without getting all the details, $50 gets you like 5 things signed by each of them. And the other is just
not bad, honestly.
You're right. That's not bad. But here's the thing. And this is the point of pride here. The other 50 is just for the panel and a print, and it's
right.
It's a point of pride, you know. I won't lie. It's a point of pride. Is the whole like the other $50 is for that panel, and it's just kind of ridiculous. So on days, I'm coming back and I'm getting ready for the next day. I'm saying, you know, I spent too much, but I haven't gone over budget, but I basically spent money early. So I invested with the art. So the point is, like, I got all the art on day one essentially. I pre-purchased all the art in advance, which I was kind of expecting to do throughout the whole 3 days. So I'm not hurting on money, but I have I'm closer to the end of my thing than I expected. And there has been a lot of price gouging. I didn't even see Neil Adams this year, because Neil Adams, I usually like to buy like a piece of art from Neil Adams, but Neil Adams he's there every year. He went up. it went up from like $60 for like 3 of them to like $80 to $100 for like it's not 100. The point is like it depends what size of the art you get. Like it's like $80 where it was 60 the previous year. You follow me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so day 2. So I got I have all this Saturday stuff I've decompressed, and I've restructured my whole plan with Snyder and Capullo because Saturday is the big day. I've only had one shot at Snyder, and Snyder is to me is the most important. I mean, I got to see Scott Snyder. My idol, the Batman writers. There, I got one day, and I had like this perfect plan where I'm gonna have like 3 guys in line, get all like I had like 9 Snyder books I wanted to get signed, like 3 apiece, ideally, and I could scale it back till I had some backups and within that. So I just need to get like an amount signed. So I'm decked out in my Snyder and Capullo gear. I had a shirt that I had gotten for a Christmas last year. I think it was last year. It was the Jim Gordon Batman logo, where it was. In the story that these guys did, in the big story I was really praising in the thank you letters this year that was not finished when I saw him last time. It was called Super Heavy, where Jim Gordon becomes Batman. And it's this.
Yeah, I remember I remember your mind being blown by that story, and you were telling me about it as it was going on.
And essentially what I've said to the effect in those letters is, like you guys took like my childhood fantasy and you made it legitimate and you made something, a good story out of it. And, I was thanking them profusely for that. So the point is I had my Jim Gordon Batman shirt, which I had gotten for Christmas, and I've been waiting to use it on a Comic-Con with these 2 guys. So it's been kind of waiting for this. I have not worn this shirt in anticipation for this very day, Tiki. So I got that and got my utility belt, my Batman utility belt, which I usually like to wear. And again, actually, it's like the Jim Gordon Batman because it's a black shirt and you have like the yellow belt. So, okay, anyway, because he basically looks like Batman Beyond with a yellow bat instead of a red one. That's kind of what the Jim Gordon Batman looks like outside of the RoboCop suit. So, all right, so Saturday, we're on Saturday right now, and let me see here. Let me get to this here. Okay, Saturday. Okay, so the third letter is this day, by the way.
Okay.
So it's early. I'm a little sore because it's a day of Comic-Con is going by. I'm a little sore in the morning, and I'm there. I'm just again a little emphasis, and that's where you see that pays off there. So I'm geared up for Snyder and Capullo. I got the letter, so I give him Capullo his letter, and that went over great. And I got Snyder's letter, which to me means the world because I wrote in this. This is the letter I put the whole the thing I've told you about, Tiki, where it's I remember him from. Basically, he worked in Florida for that year, and there's a chance that I actually met my writing idol as a kid when I met Buzz Lightyear in Florida. I actually put that there.
Right.
Bear in mind, it sounds a lot better than just the way I'm describing it right now. It's like I kind of made it a little more eloquent, more respectful. It's just like a little more better. And it sounds the same really like this. The point is, I got a meaning to tell him that since that I've never told him that, and I keep meaning to tell him that, but I kept forgetting in those past years. So I kind of put it in the letter finally and make sure it's there, and I don't have to say it to him. So I have all that right now. I have basically the logo that I'm wearing on my shirt drawn on the front of that, the super heavy Jim Gordon Batman logo. It's on the front of the thank you list. I'm very proud of it. So the big guy for the day here, the big head honcho, the third of the lettered trifecta here is Mike Coulter.
Oh, okay. That's a big one. All right. Glad
Yes.
I didn't have that spoiled.
That's right,
All
folks.
Right.
So I was going all
I wish I liked Luke Cage season 2 better than I do, but still, that's awesome.
And this was yet another reason I did not commit to the $100 VIP thing, which again, ordinarily I'd go for the $100 VIP thing for Snyder and Capullo. But again, I was going all out for Mike Coulter. I got the photo up and I got the autograph and everything. To get that done, that's at least 100. That's 100 as is. So to get that, I went all out for Mike Coulter because rarely do you meet a again, short of Charlie Cox or Vincent D'Onofrio would I do something like this.
Sure.
So Mike Coulter, big deal. I mean, my God, meeting Luke Cage himself. So I was very excited. This is the thing. I was like, oh boy, I can't wait to tell you this. And this is it, Mike Coulter. So I'm going in. I'm going in. There's a panel. I forgoed every panel because I had a conflict. There was something going on while a panel was happening, so I could not make the panels except for one. I had to choose. It was like a Sophie's choice of the 12 o'clock panel. It was between Mike Coulter's panel, which usually, as I told you with Capasic, I like to take in the celebrities panel. I like to. It was that versus a Bill Finger panel, which was, basically basking in the success of like, yeah, Bill Finger finally got credit. And I was like, well, yeah, that's cool, but I had the whole documentary about like, why that kind of, I have that documentary.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I could see the merits in both of them, but obviously Mike Coulter's more of a once in a lifetime kind of deal.
You'll see what happens with that. Something really interesting happens with that.
Okay.
So again, I have my plan in place. I'm there on Saturday. I'm in that waiting area, and the plan is, when I get in there, I'm going to get the signing times for Capullo and Tom King and everything. We can get them all written down, so I can figure out who's going to be where, when, so I can accomplish it. Basically, multitasking as much as I can there. So I go to see Dan Slott, and oh boy, Dan Slott has a huge line with him, big old line, and I have to. So I got to see Mike Coulter right before he goes to that panel at 12 o'clock. So I'm getting in the Mike Coulter line, and my guys are in the Dan Slott line. Imagine this. I have like 2/3 of my Dan Slott stuff.
I love how well coordinated this all is. There's such a game plan to this all.
Of course, there's a game plan, Tiki. So what happens is I have 2/3 of my Dan Slott stuff to these guys. I wanted to keep the personal stuff for me so I could interact with the guys. So I have my stuff with me, and the idea was like if I get finished with Mike Coulter, I could go back with Dan Slott and meet up with him in line and basically get all signed. And I had no idea if there's a book limit or anything, and I find out that Dan Slott has no book limit whatsoever, which is kind of kicking the pants to me. It's like, oh great, well that's just perfect, right? Basically, I could have given one guy everything, and it would have been. So that's essentially what I learned. So that's just perfect. So anyway, this is a big ticking clock while I'm in the line for Mike Coulter, because he's running late, and again then he has a panel, and it's a little stressing because I'm wondering, oh boy, I'm going to be waiting. I'm not really that close to him either, so I'm like towards the back of the line. It's like, oh boy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it before that panel, and yeah, I want to be able to maybe take in that panel too.
Yeah, sure.
So I've made this. So as I'm ruminating on my options, the other guest shows up.
No, okay.
So I was hoping, and here's the thing: I was hoping to say. So this is where the red shirts come in. So on Friday, my plan was just to say hi to Zach Levi because he's the most expensive of any of the autographs, not counting Frank Miller, because he was like $80. Which again.
Miller, get the hell over yourself.
So
I'm just $80 for an autograph. Jesus Christ.
So Zachary Levi was there, and of course Zachary Levi, Flynn Rider, he was in a few of the Thor movies. He's of course going to be Shazam, and again,
wasn't he Chuck?
Yes, that's the big thing. Yeah, Chuck.
Yeah,
and of course Shazam. This is before Shazam, so he has to be really dodgy in the questions and everything about Shazam. But the point is, he was there as well, and I had hoped just to say hi to him, but again, my hopes have been clipped on day one about that. So so literally behind me, it's like what I had with Edward James Olmos in a Pastures, where like a celebrity had walked behind me. I kind of noticed while I was waiting in the Luke Cage line, waiting in Mike Coulter's line. Zach Levi kind of walks by and is like, "Hey, how's it going?" So I kind of said hi to him as he was walking by. He says, so I kind of had that. So I mean, again, I was hoping that So my hopes have been dashed, but I kind of like screw him. Says, "Hey, hi." I didn't walk up to him, but he just kind of walked past me. It was very casual. So that one kind of worked out. So I would have liked to genuinely meet him and kind of say like, "Hey, good luck with you. I hope Shazam's good. Looks good." And all that stuff. I didn't quite have a conversation. All right, so Mike Coulter. Mike Coulter's the hardest letter. Yes. Mike Coulter and Scott Snyder are the hardest letters to craft, and I had to fit all in one page because I didn't want it to be multiple pages, and they didn't get to space it well, but it's all there. So Mike Coulter, I tell him, it's like, oh my god, I'm in line, and thankfully Mike Coulter shows up. He shows up, and I give him the letter. The letter in big block letters says "Sweet Christmas." And basically what a sweet Christmas, thanks Mike Coulter. That's pretty much what the front of the letter looks like. So I get up there, and I get an autograph done. You have to get them done at a separate time, an autograph, and I'm going to get the picture done Sunday. So get the autograph. Okay. And I get like a shot from the defender, so I get like a really good image that would look really nice, kind of framed up there. And in the letter, I basically I tell him like, oh my god, you sir. I kind of opened it really cheesily. I opened it really cheesy way where I said, Mike Coulter, I'm sure forgive the overwhelming sense of deja vu. I'm gonna say what you've heard 100 times here. You are Luke Cage. Let me explain what I mean by that. By that I mean you are, you are that character like Christopher Reeve as Superman and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. You have become and kind of helped better that character as a whole. Basically, that's kind of how I started. And the point is, I kind of went through his entire repertoire in a letter in each paragraph. Essentially, is kind of where I went there, saying, I remembered you from Men in Black 3, and then that one of my favorite scenes from Men in Black 3, and that's how I kind of knew you going into it. I basically go through the whole careers to spare you the details. So, and I ended very much saying my favorite thing in all of Luke Cage is always forward, and the ending of Luke Cage, the first scene of Luke Cage and the ending of Luke Cage, and I shared a little bit of personal stuff, and at the very end I said, hopefully you'll keep on playing this character always. I worked in all forward always at the very end. Your fan always as well. So. So I met him. I shook the man's hand, and I asked the question that I had to make a choice. And I made the choice that I was not going to do Mike Coulter's panel. What I was going to do is asking my question I would have asked at his panel to him directly. Okay. I shook his hand. I gave him the letter. I said, "Look, I'm going to save you time. I don't want to take up everyone's time here. So the letter says it all. Just thank you for all you've done." I shake his hand. I ask him. Look, I do this. I've done this podcast called Unlocking Luke Cage on all the episodes of season 1. So I ask you, as you the actor, how do you unlock? What's the key to unlocking Luke Cage, the character?
Oh, okay.
And he tells me
promotion there, man. I appreciate that.
Which again, I would have done during the panel, but I kind of figured, I might as well just kind of cut my losses here and kind of kill two birds with one stone.
Of course.
So I ask, so basically he tells me Luke is a character who's, the way he plays Luke Cage is he factors in all the expectations that Luke is faced with. And that's kind of how he plays that character. Luke is kind of very much like an icon who has to live down the expectation of being an icon. So get a really good answer.
Uh-huh.
And also I had him sign on the autograph picture on top of Luke, around where Luke is it's the elevator shot from Defenders. He signs where Luke is.
Uh-huh.
Mike Coulter, a.k.a. Luke Cage, and I asked him to write this down. There's this Sweet Christmas. Yeah, I thought it was nice. So I go to the panel. I go to the Bill Finger panel, and there was a huge surprise.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, bear in mind, I was gonna I checked the times, and Tom King. I was gonna hit Tom King after the Bill Finger panel, which I was expecting. Okay, I've seen where this goes. I'm just gonna duck out before the thing even ends. I'm gonna go down the Tom King with everybody, all that. And Bill Finger, I go to the panel, and I'm expecting it to be talk about the documentary and everything. Then I'm wowed by something truly amazing. Mark Tyler Nobleman is there.
Hey, I don't know who this is.
Well, you do, because you watched the documentary. Mark Tyler Nobleman's the guy who got Bill Finger's name on Batman again. He's the guy who
You know what, Trey? It's been a while since I've watched the documentary. I'm not good with faces, all right? I'm sorry, all right?
Okay, so Mark Tyler...
I should have been more like, explain who this guy is.
Mark Tyler Nobleman is the man who, if you've ever seen the movie Batman and Bill, he was the guy who essentially played detective, and he found out that Bill Finger had not gotten the credit on Batman, and he basically did the very elaborate search
on our Batman and Bill video.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
So that's him. And here's the thing, Tiki. I swear to you, I read the thing up and down because I was intrigued by this, the whole Bill Finger thing. The reason I was so blasé about the Bill Finger thing was because they were going to talk about Mark Tyler Nobleman. At no point did they say he was going to be there. Tiki, I know the red shirts are I know one of those red shirts are responsible for that with the phrase in there because it says everything but he's going to be. Every other little description says these people are going to be in the panel. Again, Mark Tyler Nobleman, his name is there, but it doesn't say he's going to be there. It says talk about they released the documentary Batman and Bill by Mark Tyler Nobleman. It's like what?
Man.
So I was stupefied when I was there. It's like, oh my God, Mark Tyler Nobleman, he's there, and I had to make a call while the thing was going on to my buddies. Like, look, I'm gonna be late. Mark Tyler Nobleman, something came up. He's there. Just I need one of you guys to come up here, grab my books. If I'm not there, get them signed. Just I'll be there as soon as I can. There can be a big line. I'll be there plenty of time to spare. And of course I was, but I was able to meet the man who I respect the crap out of Mark Tyler Nobin. Had I known, I would have gotten the one book that he put out that I wish I would have brought it to get it signed. Had I known.
Is there any talk about the podcast
with Kevin Smith? Yeah.
No. The podcast with Mark Tyler Nobleman. Like when you went up there, did you mention the podcast when you met him?
I mentioned kind of. I mentioned that I had done some stuff. I basically mentioned I did some stuff to gain support for Bill Finger, which I did. I did a video outside of what we've done, but I kind of mentioned on the whole.
Gotcha.
I vaguely mentioned we've done. I more specifically mentioned the whole 100th. I did this video about Bill Finger.
Sure. I remember that. Yeah.
Basically, that tied in directly to something he did with Kevin, the podcast he did with Kevin Smith, because I did it in reaction to that. So it was kind of. So I mentioned that, and I asked him chances of a biopic. He's trying for a biopic because I asked something that correlated to us. I asked it because we plan on doing that Bill Finger biopic at some point.
Oh, did you mention Clark Gregg?
I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to, but it would have been cool. Yeah. All right, so the point is I was able to meet the guy, and it was really delightful. Also, I was able to, just by happenstance, there's a big celebrity who was at the convention who, unfortunately, I just wanted to say hi to as well. It was Jim Steranko. Jim Steranko is one of the big, does the name Jim Steranko ring any bells?
No, not for me. Sorry.
Jim Steranko, he came up with that big kind of thing in the comics where they had like a love scene in the comics between Nick Fury and a girl, and essentially it had the famous gun in the holster shot. That was him. Jim Steranko is behind all the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff that people like in various Captain America stories. And real quick, little shot of the Punisher when I was waiting earlier.
Nice.
Red Brentholium. I was kind of waiting on the stairway, and the red shirts were trying to sell me getting the stupid yearbook that nobody wants. And while we were all waiting there, I kind of noticed this great omen of there was just a Superman. I looked up, and there was a Superman in this pose, lit like like he was on he was in the Fortress of Solitude with this lighting, and it's like, oh my god,
man,
I gotta take it.
Perfect. That's perfect.
I have enough. There's a Superman runner to all this. There's gonna be
man, moments like that.
And I have a big payoff with the Superman here. This is not the same Superman you're going to hear about later, but just remember, Superman is kind of like the omen. There's a beautiful, Superman is kind of like the angel of mercy smiling down upon me during all of this. Also, Negasonic and Yukio from Deadpool 2. Yeah. Let's see. Following that, DeLorean.
Cool.
I'm building to the strength of things. Forgot the order here.
Okay.
I wasn't able to see Jim. I wasn't able to meet with Jim Steranko, but I did by happenstance catch Nobleman, Jim Steranko, and John Ostrander, the writer of Suicide Squad, the guy who basically created the Suicide Squad we know, the good ones, So kind of a trifecta there, just by happenstance completely. Just right as it was kind of dawning on me, oh my God, Mark Tyler Nobleman is here. Of course, also a buddy of mine was just kind of there by happenstance, and he was dressed as Daredevil from season 1.
Oh,
and of course,
that's awesome. That's legit.
And a great precursor for Daredevil season 3, by the way.
Yes.
All right,
Dragon, remind me, when is Daredevil season 3? It's like this week, right?
Yes.
Oh, I can't. I've been hearing good things, man.
I know. There's stuff I could tell you, but I won't.
I know.
Okay, let's see. So again, I saw Jim Steranko there. Let me show you another great costume here. So I saw a Deadpool costume that made me want to weep in the best of ways. They had this Deadpool costume. And this cosplayer was delightful. One, you can see he doesn't have guns because there's like a weapons check. What he has are bananas instead of guns, which is quite funny. There's a kid dressed as like a stormtrooper Tick, and you have Deathstroke.
That's pretty funny.
Deathstroke, and you have Black Mask from the Arkham game. There's another shot of him. There's a better shot. Yeah. I mean, I took a picture. I took a picture with this guy, and he made banter like Deadpool. Because oh my god, because again, I've been trying. I was going to do a Deadpool costume like this for. I was trying to upgrade my mask for my Deadpool costume for Halloween. Didn't work out. I kind of went with Ant-Man in the end. But
Oh,
I was asking, oh my god, I love your suit. And he says, oh yeah, you should see me out of it. He's making like he was acting like Deadpool. It was kind of a gag there.
yeah,
It was smartly written Deadpool, which I appreciate. Like, yeah, that sounds like him.
yeah.
Okay, let's see. We're almost done Saturday here. So basically, you get to the big meat and potatoes of it, old Snyder and Capullo. So basically, after Tom King, so I see Tom King. The red shirts strike again by they have the stupid line thing where basically they want to crowd the walkways, and what they do is they put my friends and I across this backing, uh, and we're all there. And that's not the problem. The problem is this: that there's the people on the other side. Where basically, logically, if you were to walk up to where Tom King is, and it'd be like 3 or 4 people in front of you, you think, "Oh my God, I struck it just right, Tom King. I can just line up behind this guy." And my guys and myself are across from these poor schlubs, and we're saying, "No, we have to, because the red shirts are nowhere around when you need them." We have to break the bad news. No, the line ends there. We're like Gene Shepard in A Christmas Story. We're the ones that have to tell, hey kid, the line ends there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're doing their jobs for him and not getting a dime for it. You know, it's like it's just I felt bad again. Those stupid red shirts.
Right.
Meanwhile, let's see. Okay, so following a lot of repetition here. While we were in line, we had some really great. Again, these are cosplayers that take it seriously.
Loki. Yeah, right.
I got a card from Loki that said Loki Loudface on it. It was a picture of Asgard, and it was delightful. And these guys are really in character, and they really loved it. This girl here, trained Black Widow, she's really gaga about the Black Widow movie that again seemingly has been confirmed. I mean, I hear they're planning that Black Widow movie. And she's I told her about the whole Agent Carter thing. It's like, oh yeah, the Red Room. It's like, yeah, we saw it kind of established an Agent Carter in the MCU, and they could
sure.
So again, a really great. We basically imagine my guys like standing right in front of them here, and behind them is where Tom King is. That's exactly where it's happening right now.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, these guys are cosplayers who take it seriously. They're really friendly. I had a nice conversation with him. He has a staff that lights up like the Tesseract, like the Mind Stone staff from Avengers.
The Loki Pokey stick.
Exactly. So these guys are really cool.
Nice,
nice. Okay, let's see. So get into the big meat and potatoes of it all, and there's not a lot following that. So that's the thing. So the big meat and potatoes of it all So again, there's Tom King again, but they're the boys, Snyder and
the boys.
So okay, so this is the big kind of heart of the story here. Is the huge moment. Okay, so I'm in line. I'm in line for Snyder and Capullo. I'm in line, and again, because of Friday, I know that I'm expecting to be just $5 per, because again they kind of thrown out the rules from that sketched art thing. They threw out the rules. There's no freebies. I'm bringing. I don't need my guys to wait in line with me as I had planned, because it's just going to be basically I'm going to have to pay the money anyway, so I can just stand in line alone. So they're going to the costume contest, which is being held at 3:00, which means I'm alone completely here. So the clock is ticking on all this here. So the clock's ticking. They're running late, and it's like the point is time is passing. They're running late, and people are getting antsy. And there's a huge line for Snyder and Capullo, and there are other things I've been meaning to get to, like checking on the progress of sketches. Dave Bullock, he had a family emergency and he wasn't there for Saturday, and I had a Birdman thing happen at the convention. Basically, I needed to get the source material to Dave Bullock's table because I had given it to Mike Mayak, and I basically commissioned the sketch. I need to get Dave Bullock that book to give him that sketch. And the way I find out Dave Bullock's not there is I go to Mike Mayak. Basically, so I'm in this big line for Snyder and Capullo, and I asked the guy in front of me to kindly hold my place, which he allowed, and I had like this Birdman run, where I have to go from there as fast as I can to Mike Mayak, and Mike Mayak's chatting somebody up, and I get the Sandy Brandenburg water coach I'll show you in a moment. And then I have to go to Dave Bullock with the book that I brought for the source material. And I give the Bullock, and of course I find out Bullock's not there, and he says, okay, it'll be done by Sunday, no problem. There, okay, well, here's the source material, like I said, there you go. So just you guys, basically, when he comes back, and again, assuming he would come back at the end, which I don't even think he came back at the end of the convention. I just think I think he's going to be of Saturday. I was assuming he's going to be there Sunday, and it'll all work out. So I then go all the way back, and this is all the way from the opposite side of the convention, by the way. So then Dave Bullock is literally at the bottom corner of wherever the convention center is. I'm on the complete opposite side of it. So I go all the way back. I get in line. So then the girl comes by, the sketched art girl, and then something happens that makes me ache.
Oh no.
So,
no. Oh God.
So my guys are at the costume contest,
Oh,
as I said.
God.
I'm alone here, so the girl comes by. And let me tell you this before. So initially, I had a moment right before this girl comes by, and it kind of hurts me here. Okay, I had a moment where initially I was panicking because earlier when I was in that waiting area with the Punisher photo I showed you, I was in the waiting area. I had shown the guys, hey, look at this thank you letter I wrote to Scott Snyder. I showed him, like, look, I drew the bat and everything. Oh, yeah, it's cool. I'm showing him that. We're at this little table because we were able to sit for a very brief moment before the line moved up. And while we were sitting, again, kind of resting, I was putting the stuff on the table. And I had a moment where, like, the letter was not in the place I thought it was. And I thought, oh my God. I had like a Jaws moment where, like, the camera goes up in Roy Scheider's face.
Oh no.
Where I was panicking like Walter White looking for drug money. And I was going through the bag, going through every bag and board of comics I had, was looking for that letter. And initially I couldn't find it. And I thought it was going to be like localized with all the Spider Cool comics. I'm sorry? I'm sorry, what was that last part?
I'm with going.
Gotcha.
Just keep going.
Right. So yeah. I'm looking and I'm not finding it. I'm thinking, oh my God, I must have left it at that table. All the way outside. And I'm panicking. I'm calling my buddy saying, listen, I need one of you guys to come back from the costume because they gave them a camera so they can take pictures of the costumes. It's like, listen, I need one of you. I'm kind of having a moment here. I'm going to need one of you guys to come here so I can basically go there and find it myself. But then I realized, oh my God, it's in the other pocket. So I found it was in like the front pocket. So it was a false alarm, thank goodness. I call him, like, okay, false alarm. It's just stay where you guys are. It's fine. And then the girl comes by.
Oh God. All right.
So the girl comes by, and again, the girls are nice, but they don't. Here's the thing: they don't know the ramifications of what they've done. Girl comes by, and she tells me again, it's the same thing as before. Like, how many books you got? Well, I have this many books, and I asked just out of curiosity's sake. So listen, are there any? Are they going to be able to do pictures? Because again, I'm thinking with the whole VIP thing. Maybe they're only doing pictures for that for some reasons. No, they'll do pictures. Yeah, sure. It says, what about? Is there a book limit? And she's saying, oh yes, Scott's 3 free, and Capullo's 2 free, and then it's $5. It's literally what I planned for. And I'm sorry. And
no, yeah, go ahead.
You follow me on this, right? We're on basically my initial plan.
Yeah.
But I tell her, no, wait, that's not right. I was told the exact opposite yesterday. I was told the exact opposite.
And your buddies aren't in line with you, so you can't split it up.
Nope. So basically, I have to pick and choose from a few of them here, and I have to end on because I was gonna I have to get some signed by I have to get more signed by Capullo than I do Snyder, but I have to get all the I can get all the Snyder books signed, and I can only get like half the Capullo books signed. Essentially, is what I'm realizing. It's like, oh God, I can only. Basically, I had to pick and choose like some stuff to get signed, some stuff not to, and I need at the end of the day, Snyder's only gonna be there for one day, so I bit the bullet and I'll get all the Snyder stuff signed. I'll figure out Capullo Sunday or whatever I'm gonna do with it. Maybe I'll just have to wait for Capullo's pull. So again, I'm screwed yet again by this girl. And then there's a ticking clock to all this. The ticking clock is that Garth Ennis yet again is leaving shortly, and I realized this as I'm waiting in line. Again, they're showing up. It's taking a long time in line. I'm realizing, oh no.
Oh man.
Garth Ennis is going to leave, and I cannot leave line here. And I'm calling my buddy, saying, listen, my buddy miraculously shows up, and I'm all defeated. And I'm saying, well, it's like 10 or 15 minutes left before he leaves, and I don't know if he's going to have like a long line because he's a preacher. I don't know. And basically he says, well, all right, give it the old college try. Give him the books. Just see if you can get them signed. We'll go there and see. And then something miraculous happens. So my friend, he swooped in there, and he comes back to me, and he got them all signed. Like, wait, what? He says, yeah, I got them all signed within that 10 to 15 minute window. Then I'm basically
Nice,
making the
nice.
most of my helpless position at the moment, saying, "Okay, go see Jeff Parker next." Jeff Parker was the guy who did basically did the '60s. Jeff Parker did the '60s Batman comics that gave us the '60s Batman animated movies, essentially reinvigorated Batman in the '60s. So then John Beatty. John Beatty's the guy who did the Secret Wars comics. Is okay, get these 2 Secret War comics signed. There was a surcharge for him, but it was like something it's been years since I've seen John Beatty, so I just kind of forgot about that once I reimbursed my buddy. It's like, oh, thank you for that. Okay. Back to Snyder and Capullo. So time has passed at this point. I'm getting stuff signed while standing in line, so that's good. So Snyder and Capullo, I'm finally there. As I mentioned, the base of the sketch art war part 2, the beautiful girls kind of crushed my plans and kind of and just killed me yet again. So I basically end up paying like roughly 20 bucks or so for 4 books for Snyder. That's all I really need signed, because again, I would have had more. I could have gotten signed easily, because again, I had changed my plans and everything. So okay, let's get the four signed, and then Capullo, I'm just gonna get out. Basically, I figured I was just we'll see what happens with Capullo. So I'm in there. I finally get up there, and the wait. This is the most excruciating wait of the 3 days, by the way. The most excruciating wait, because this one took the longest. They showed up late because of that freaking VIP panel.
Right.
Where essentially, here's the big rubbing the dirt in the wound of it all, Tiki. That VIP panel is basically they're signing. You can sit while they're signing and everything. You have like a comfortable thing there too, is where you can. There's a panel going on where it has chairs in the room, and after that, they're like going to sign 5 books at a time, no problem, and take pictures and everything. The whole thing. That's the jest that makes me kind of like that's the excruciating part of it all there. But still, I'm waiting in line, and all the men before me. I'm like, when I'm finally up there, it's like 5 guys before me. They all fell, not me. I was standing the whole time. They all kind of slid down, sitting on the floor. I didn't falter. They all fell before me. So I go up there finally, and I was recognized by Capullo and Snyder. It's been years since I've seen Snyder. There's a vague recollection. I gave Snyder the letter. I gave him the respective props. I summarized the letter. I thanked him profusely for Super Heavy, all of that. I got a picture with the both of them, which was nice. I got me in my Snyder Batman shirt and everything was going great. And then I had Tiki. Here's the miracle of it all. Get ready for this. Get ready to shed a tear. Okay. So after all that chaos, here's what happened. I'm chatting them up while the books are getting signed. I think I ended up with like 20 from Snyder, like 2 books from Capullo. I think it's what I ended up with. So what happened is this. So I'm rebagging. The age-old joke of Comic-Con is after you get the book signed, it's like changing a baby. You have to find like an empty table and you have to rebag them like you're changing a baby like a bathroom or something. It's silly. So I'm looking for a place to do that, and as I'm doing that, 2 things happen. One, I meet the Superman Angel of Mercy. It's like a sign from. It's like a sign from the Bible or something. Where I as I'm about to bag the comics up, I meet a Flesher Superman. Initially, I thought he was Kingdom Come Superman, but then he and I got into a conversation. I got a picture, and I believe he looked. Yeah, here he is.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's definitely Flesher Superman. Yeah,
I got a picture with him, and I basically he and I got into a conversation about Flesh. I told him about the Disney animator Rob Pratt, who did a picture of who did 2 animated shorts about that Superman. We kind of geeked out about Superman for him. It was really nice. It's like, oh my god, it was like a little delightful little moment with Superman after having that omen of Superman earlier at that convention. Here's the inside out tissue worthy moment here. So as I'm rebagging the comics, I had this beautiful moment where I discovered that. Of course, I saw Snyder sign the comics. That's where my focus really was, and I was kind of chatting up Capullo while I was there and getting the picture and everything. So, as I'm rebagging them, I discover that free of charge, Capullo signed all of the books where I needed signatures from the. I had Snyder. Basically, I had all my Snyder books. And I had them all on the table, and I had like 2 Capullo books that Snyder had signed. Basically, they recognized who signed what. And Capullo just without charge, he had signed all. Basically, I had gotten most of my, pretty much, I got more of my Capullo books signed than I ever thought I would.
And
it was
that's great.
less work for me. There's like this beautiful little moment where I kind of look to my heroes to the left there, and it's like, oh my god, it was like all by that localized area. It's really nice. And basically, this is let me show you what the Sandy Brandberg sketch looked like, and we're basically ramping down from Saturday, and Sunday will go by fast. So let's see.
Okay.
Also, there's Cable.
Nice.
Really nice. Here we go. Bear in mind the little belt buckle here basically looks exactly like this. It's a little flash from the camera.
I like it. I like it.
I love this. Is my favorite of all the sketches I had done this year. This is Mike Myak's interpretation of Sandy Brandenburg, and of course like Deadpool's logo here and there's like cursing at her on the phone. This is hilarious. It's a thing of beauty and worth every penny. And again, it's an original. There's no other piece like it. So let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, so following that, also just want to give it a shout out here. Black Manta.
Oh, cool.
From the new Aquaman movie, specifically. Okay, so let me see. Getting back to okay. All right, so ramping down, as you saw with Cable there, I ran into Riley Brown, who again was a surprise addition because usually he's there every year, but he wasn't on the dock until the very last second. And I bought a book from Riley Brown about the history of Deadpool and the art style of Deadpool, which is kind of nice. Bought the only copy he had, and he signed it for me. And on the inside, he did a little mini sketch of Deadpool, which is really nice of him.
Cool.
And I informed him about the Super Duper Cut, which he had no idea about. I kind of blew his mind about what the Super Duper Cut was. Because, we were geeking out about Deadpool 2. Said, oh, yeah, did you see the Super Duper Cut? Yeah, what's that? I was like, oh, my gosh, you don't know? I told him about it. I love Riley Brown. He's great. Met Lee Weeks. Had a red shirt moment where basically this red shirt was in front of me with Lee Weeks. And, again, she wasn't getting anything signed. She was just basically... I don't know. She's just like hogging up all the time, and it was like, and this is towards the end where I'm a little worried that time's going to run out here. My buddy's losing his wallet on the side there. He's being called to the information desk. I'm trying to meet up.
Oh no! Oh god!
Everything was fine, but I'm saying that's in my mind as this red shirt's holding me up as I want to meet Lee Weeks. He's the artist who's working with Tom King on he basically did a Batman story recently that's based on 12 Angry Men. I nicknamed it 12 Angry Batman. It's really funny. And that kind of ends out the day. So getting the Sunday here. So I return very tired, very sore. I have a number of leftover books. I'm basically I'm half done with all the books there. I'm half of them are done. I still have another half to get done along with Sunday. I have one of the 3 sketches done. I made choices and changes to make room for things for Sunday because I still had a few Capullo. Basically, it would take a little bit of effort if I could get all of my Capullo stuff signed if I could get them for this last day. And again, after it's messed with my head for 2 days, I could roll the dice and get the last of the Capullo stuff signed. I had to sacrifice Tom King, but there's tons of Tom King stuff, so I'm not really heartbroken about it. I had to sacrifice seeing Tom King for a 3rd day because that would have been a line too many to get everything done. So day 3, so last day, day 3, I'm wearing my Captain America backpack and I'm wearing my shirt so I can get my nice picture done with Mike Coulter. It's a shirt that it says Pop's Barbershop.
Oh, nice.
So I got that shirt specifically so it would look nice in a picture with Mike Coulter.
Of course.
So, and of course, I picked out the specific shirt that says "Always Forward." My favorite line from all of Luke Cage. I made sure it was on a shirt so I could have "Always Forward" with Luke Cage in a picture. So, okay, so we're getting to Sunday now. So Sunday, it's the last day, which is crunch time, and I went with my father per tradition. He took me to my first convention, so Sunday we always go, the easy day out of all the days.
Nice.
All right, so I'm checking Capullo's times right off the bat because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just checking. I'm assuming it's going to be the. Here's the thing. I gotta say this because this is important. And Sunday's going to go by real fast here. So that Saturday, that girl who basically blew my head open with knowledge that just like I would have loved to have known. She tells me she promised me. It says, okay, so it's not gonna go back to what it was Friday, right? It says, no, it's not gonna go back to what it was Friday. They're gonna maintain with it. It's gonna be 2 free books like it was today. It says, okay. So
then on Sunday it went back to what it was on Friday.
Oh, we'll get there. You're gonna love what happens, Tiki. You're gonna love what happens. So I checked Capullo's times.
Right.
I know when he's gonna be there. Dan Slott. Dan Slott's there. He's the first guy I hit up in the day, and Dan Slott is a really nice guy, really personal to the fans. Again, I could have gotten the whole box signed by the guy, and he would have been happy doing it. But had I known, Tiki, had I known, I have to make room for Sunday, so I could not have gotten everything signed. I got to have my last bit. So I have no guilt about being the only guy getting things signed, getting all this stuff signed. That's fine. So I'm waiting in line. There's a big line for him, but again, I struck it just right. So I'm really close to the end of the line. Is my point. I'm really close to being really. It's like I'm not that far off. He made a smart move in getting people 1 to 5 books to get signed go to the front of the line, which is a really smart move while he's getting things signed. It kind of sped things up. But here's the crunch time effect. Dan Slott had a panel at 12. He had a panel on the he had a panel at 11, which would end at 12:30. So he's there signing everything. He's telling these great stories. He's kind of a chatterbox when he's getting things signed. I love that quality. He's telling me so. He told this great story about Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby once he stopped doing sketches and stopped doing sketches for young fans because a kid asked him to do a sketch of I believe it was Captain America, or it was either The Thing or Captain America. Did a sketch of him, and the kid basically turned around and he said, "Hey," he sold the sketch right in front of Jack Kirby's eyes. Jack Kirby stopped doing sketches from that point forward. It was a really delightful little story that he told. There's oh, that's why artists, it's Dan Slott's he's a man of the people. I like that. Really nice. So the point is, I'm getting really close to getting up there. I don't have a whole lot, but I have I got a brick size stack. It's enough. I got a healthy amount. It's not a big box, but it's enough. So we're getting closer, and Dan Slott's warning that, hey guys, listen, I got a panel coming up here. I mean, I'll be back at 12:30, and I'm thinking, oh no, I'm getting close. I don't know if I'm going to make it. So I basically asked the guy in line in front of me to.
And of course, I know about this fear kind of because it's the fear of waiting in line for a Disney ride only for it to break down on you, where it's like, oh no, I just wasted 90 minutes of my time and didn't get any return on that investment.
And Tiki, let me emphasize this: Sunday is the biggest time crunch of any day at Comic-Con, because when Sunday ends early. Sunday ends at 5 o'clock. Sunday ends at Sunday ends at 5 o'clock. It means 2 hours earlier. So you have less time to get everything done. And again, if something holds you up like this, you're in trouble. So anyway, let's see. So I'm almost at the front. I asked the guy in front of me, hey, could you get these? He has like one book. He's one of the 1 to 5 book guys. He says, hey, you mind if could you get the sign for me? He's really amenable. He says, yeah, sure. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna cut down, just get a couple books signed, maybe hit him afterwards when he comes back. I don't know. And I miss him just by that much. There's a guy or two in front of me in line says, nope.
No. That hurts. That hurts.
Now the good news is I at least had 2 out of 2/3 of things signed before. I wanted to meet the guy though, and get the stuff that was kind of near and dear to my heart from him signed. But so I had to come back at 12:30. In the meantime, what I was doing is I met with Carl Kessel and Tom Grummett, the guys who did a few of the guys from Death of Superman. Got them to sign some stuff. While I was doing that, Mark Andrenko was next to me having a big political debate with a guy.
Oh God! Okay,
I won't share it. I won't share it here. But let's just say he got really enthusiastic about his political hatred of somebody. I'm just gonna say that much. Okay, so
all right, fair enough.
so let's see. So then I'm hovering around Capullo's table because I know he's gonna be there soon. I want to get there so I can avoid a line.
Dragon on Movie Fights recently. On Movie Fights recently, they had a fight of what is the best biopic of the 21st century, something that's near and dear to my heart, and someone trying to argue for Hidden Figures over The Social Network by saying that Hidden Figures was about good people and admirable people, and The Social Network was about bad people. And can I just say, Rudnick shut that shit down, and I've never been more proud of Hal Rudnick. He was
Nice.
like, no, we're not arguing for the merits of the person, we're arguing for the merits of the movie. I'm just like, yeah, Hal! Yeah. Way to criticize Movie Fights. That's what I want to see. Awesome. Anyways.
Okay. I'm
Seriously,
hovering.
I was proud of my boy, Dragon. I was proud of my boy. Anyways,
Proud of your Rodney.
who else that?
Okay, so so I'm hovering around Capullo's table. I'm just waiting for him. I know he's gonna. I know he's gonna. That line's gonna form. So as that's
Uh-huh.
happening, I meet with a biggie. So I've been waiting for this one. This one, here's the thing: we have a lot of artists who are part of something called the Heroes Initiative. The Heroes Initiative means these guys, they're basically taking up a charity, basically to prevent Bill Fingers from happening in the future. It's like what happened to Jerry. Comic creators will get sick or they'll get wronged by a company many a time, and this organization, the Heroes Initiative, takes like a humble donation, like just like put a buck in the jar. It's that sort of thing, you know.
Uh-huh.
They take a donation, but they're all basically there's rarely a huge line for these guys, and they're always at a localized area, so you don't have to worry about missing them. Essentially, more like Denny O'Neil was part of this. Like Denny O'Neil was there, and Drenko was there, and our next guy Tom DeFalco was there. Now Tiki, I don't know if you recognize Tom DeFalco. I mean, I don't know how into it you are, but Tom DeFalco was
The name sounds like vaguely familiar to me.
that's the thing.
Vaguely familiar.
His name's all over the place, and that's because he was probably one of the most prolific editors on Spider-Man. Tom DeFalco is as a writer on Spider-Man as well as an editor, basically during the kind of the 30th anniversary period of Spider-Man. And here's the iconic thing about Tom DeFalco. The cool thing about Tom DeFalco is that I love Tom DeFalco. He did not disappoint at all. He was great. He created the black suit was created in Secret Wars, but what he did, he made it the symbiote. That was Tom DeFalco. He made the black costume the symbiote. He's the guy who posed the question, what if that suit was alive? That's DeFalco. So again, he didn't create Venom, but he created the symbiote that led to Venom. So he did that. He created Spider-Girl, which was kind of like the Batman Beyond answer to Spider-Man, where it's like, what if Peter Parker and Mary Jane had a daughter, and that daughter became the next Spider-Man, but a girl.
Uh-huh.
And just to make a long story short, he and I, we chatted about our love for Spider-Man. I asked him, Mr. DeFalco, how did you get into Spider-Man? He says, well, I picked up Amazing Fantasy 15. I knew I wanted to write that character. Really good, really good answers. And he told me the whole what if. Basically, Spider-Girl started as a what if story that became really popular, so then they made it into a regular series. And it was a lot of great stories. And again, I got my two. I had two big black suit Spider-Man stories, and I had them both signed by him. So I had like that famous cover of the red Spider-Man costume and the black Spider-Man costume fighting over Peter Parker. I have that. Got that signed. And I had the Spider-Man returning from the Secret War, like the big return to Earth in the black costume. I got that signed by him. So, yay me. Okay, and basically out of all the guys, I think he was the most worthy of the Hero Initiative donations. Like, if I'm going to donate to anybody to represent the Heroes Initiative, Tom DeFalco, he was a hero, man. It's like, yeah, that's great. So again, now
yeah, sure.
I was getting wrapped up in DeFalco. While I was doing that, I kind of realized, oh my God, look at the time. Capullo's there. So I go to the Capullo line, which thankfully was not long because I timed it just right. And I have my final 6 books. I got 6 books, and now basically in getting these 6 books signed, Tiki, these 6 books are basically the 5-year run. I've been trying to get the 5 years that he and Snyder, and for the past couple of years, I've been getting all of those signed. This year, basically all the super heavy stuff is what's left. That's what these 6 books are, the super heavy stuff. And I had him with me. I had 2 of my father and another person with me, and we're in line. But the sketch start people strike again.
Oh no! Oh God! Okay.
So a guy.
So was I switch back to the Friday policy?
Yes, but you're gonna love what happened. So.
Oh God! Okay.
So apparently I was misinformed and lied to. So I'm in line, and a guy. It's not even a beautiful girl this time. It's like a guy comes by there, and he has like a little receipt printing thing, because you give him like a little receipt to show that you paid for the thing and everything. Give them the money directly, all that sort of thing. So this guy, I asked this guy, okay, it's too free, right? Like it was yesterday, and he says, no, it's $5 per. It's like, wait, what? And I've had it at this point. Okay, I take a stand. I put my foot down. I took a stand on this guy at this point. That's no. That the girl yesterday, one of the sketch art girls, big. I didn't want to give the girl description away because I don't want to get her in trouble. But I didn't.
Yeah, sure.
Says, look, one of the girls wearing the sketch art shirt. That very shirt you're wearing. I was told that they were explicitly not going to do this. They were not going to do what it was Friday. And the guys just tell me, oh, it came from the bosses. The bosses sketch art. And basically, I say, okay, we're going to have a problem here. And he calls his boss, and basically the best he can do for me is get me 2 free, but not for some reason not my father and the other person. He would not. The point is, I got 2 free where I would have gotten none free. So I got something. You know what? I just had it at that point. So fine, I'll get the other 4 signed. So I get them all signed. But at least I got 2 free for sticking up for myself there.
Right.
I've had these sketch art. I meet them in a back alley one of these days. One of these days.
Oh God.
Maybe not them, but like the leader, whoever organized the sketch art website. That's a website.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like you got to kind of go for the higher ups. Like, to be fair, these people are just kind of like relaying the information.
And that's the thing. This guy was nice about it. I'm not angry at the guy. I'm angry at the sketch art boss, the unseen boss.
No, I hear you.
Like, he was really nice to me, and he kind of went to bat for me with the thing where he didn't have to. I just would have again.
Yeah.
So I see Capullo, and I get the last of it signed. He still remembered me, which was nice. And I told him that the end. Basically, I got some of the Batman Endgame signs. I remember when you hyped this up on the Fat Man on Batman podcast. And just, it was great. And it was really nice. He told me. I asked him about the next. He and Snyder are supposed to do like the last big story they're ever going to do together. It's called Batman Last Night. Very much looking forward to it. And there's a really great story about it. I'm not going to tell you here, but there's a great story what they're planning on doing for that. And I asked him like I tried to get the information I tried to get out of him was like when it's coming out, because that's the one thing no one can really find out. So he told me he's drawing it as we speak. And you actually go to his Twitter account, you can find out like how far he is in the production of the comic. But he told me, well, and he's still working on the page. Like, we might have an issue out by the end of this year, but it's most likely going to be 2019. So at least I got some confirmation it's 2019. So we got something there. So. It's all Capullo. I accomplished my Capullo quest. That's the main point here. I got all my Capullo books signed. Thanks to what Capullo did for me Saturday. Thanks to that. So this here again, we're getting very close to the end here. So I go to another table with some other guys. I have a weird story for you here. So I see Craig Russo. Craig Russo did a lot of the animated series tie-in books for Batman. He's a nice guy. Nothing went wrong there. But then I try to see this guy, Matt Wieringo, if I'm pronouncing that right. Matt Wieringo was a writer. Did the Fantastic Four. Did a number of books. I had a few of those books to get signed. Not a lot, just a few. And I'm looking for him, and I see a guy there, and I have no idea what this guy looks like. I've read his work. I've never seen the guy. And I asked him, yeah, I'm looking for Matt Wieringo. You see him? And you're not going to believe this, but I find out he's dead.
What? Oh God!
So again, I'm not a huge Mark.
I don't need to laugh. It's just that's just bizarre.
Not just he's not just dead. He's been dead for 11 years.
Oh God. Okay.
So here's the story. Okay, so what happened was, so again, I happened upon Matt Wieringo this year and reading him and kind of find some stuff. When I'm sifting through all the comics, I found he wrote I had some Fantastic Four comics signed by Mark Waid, and I kind of realized, maybe I can get the other guys who worked on it to sign the book. And these are old Fantastic Four comics. So I find out, and there's this thing that they instituted for since 2017. Again, 17, and he died in 2007, so 10 years later. They instituted an award. There's usually an award at the Comic-Con they offer on Friday night. They give an award ceremony for the comic creators and writers and the guys. It's like a lifetime achievement award for comics. So initially, it used to be the Harvey Award, I believe, named after Harvey Kurtzman, I think. But they changed the name to the Ringo Award. It's like a different award. It's the Ringo Award. And I find out that he's been dead. He's been dead for in excess of 10 years. And they started in this award in 2017, 10 years after his death. And his name, it's short for his name. Why Ringo? Just Ringo for short. Get it? So apparently, his name is still on the because again, it's not a mistake that I was looking for him. It's like his name is on the map.
Gotcha.
Again, I saw him out. His name's on the map and everything, but apparently he has a foundation. He
That
has a
must have been a
foundation.
surreal feeling, Dragon. That must have just been a surreal revelation to you.
Yes, it's like what? He has a foundation named after him, the Matt Y. Ringo Foundation, and that's why it just kind of blew my mind. I didn't know that was possible, but yep.
Man.
So I then see Jerry Ordway. Jerry Ordway is the guy who I mentioned this when we were doing the Death of Superman commentary. He's the guy who was in the room and said, "Let's just kill him," and that, of course, gave us Death of Superman. So I met that guy. He's an artist. Jerry Ordway. I bought that Adam West print. I remember I told you about the Adam West, the print that was like in Mortimer.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
I didn't see him that year, but I bought that from his table. So this year I got a couple things signed by him. And it was kind of a long draw. He was sketching something while he was talking to the guy in front of me, and that kind of took a long while. But anyway, it was a casual conversation. It was a nice guy. I just kind of wish he would, kind of put down the pen for a minute. Then, it was a good conversation. I also, just kind of by happenstance, I prepared for him, but I didn't know if I was going to make it because it's Sunday's crunch time. John Ostrander, the creator of the Suicide Squad, I got him to sign my first appearance of the Suicide Squad. That was kind of cool.
Nice.
Let's see. So then, okay, we're getting very close to the end here. So then I met the creator of Black Lightning, Tony Isabella. Tony Isabella is, one second. Yes. Okay, one. Right here. There we go. So there's Tony. See this guy right here?
Yeah.
That's Tony Isabella. He created Black Lightning, and this guy, he has a fun story to him too. I see this guy every year. He's a regular goer of the convention. Usually, he's dressed like Bishop. He's dressed like Superman. In this case, he is dressed exactly like Black Lightning from the TV show. And again, I've told you the Black Lightning TV show is great, and the character.
I've been meaning to check it out. I really have.
It feels very Luke Cage season 1 in a way, and I really like it. Black Lightning again.
Season 2, am I right?
Season 2 started for Black Lightning right now, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. So far, it's promising, but then we'll see. Anyway, my point is that Tony's again the character of Black Lightning's always been the great idea of like a school principal as an alter ego. I can't get enough of that idea. It's a school principal with 2 daughters. Is a really great alter ego for a hero. And Tony Isabella, really nice guy. And as you can see right here, he's wearing pretty much the exact same shirt I wore in my Mike Coulter picture.
Right.
Bob's Barbershop. And this is from Saturday. I met him on Sunday, and he saw my shirt, and he said, "Oh my God, I swear to you, I wore that exact same shirt." They're so surreal that, again, like these 2 great kind of iconic shows about these great black characters. You have like Black Lightning. The creator of Black Lightning is wearing a Luke Cage shirt. I love that.
Yeah.
I got him to sign. I have the issue about the origin of Black Lightning, so I got him to sign that. Got a nice picture with him. That was all nice. So here's where here's where we're gonna basically get to the very end here. So I had to miss out on Zach Levi's panel. Which I watched on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. This panel was cool. I really regret missing it, but I had to miss it because they have a very set time when you take a picture with a celebrity. You have to be there on the dot. And that was during this panel. I would have been at that Zach Levi panel, but I could not be 2 places at once. So, because again, I have to be in the picture, obviously. I can't just get someone to do it, So I got a picture with Mike Coulter, and it was great. And again, and that day I was wearing my Pop shirt like this, and he noticed it, and he says, "Oh my God, yeah!" Basically in the picture he's pointing to the Pop's barbershop shirt. And Tiki, you're gonna love how deep cuts this is. So,
oh God, okay.
Mike Coulter, let me show you this. All right, this essentially is what Mike Coulter looked like. So Mike Coulter, you'll see this hat that he's wearing. So Mike Coulter, this is a hat very identical to the hat that Pops wore in Luke
Yes,
Cage. It's a
yes.
different color, but it's the same type of hat. Remember, through all of Luke Cage, season 1, we kept saying we saw that he hung the hat on the hat rack after Pop's passing, and it would have been great because Luke's proverbially kind of stepping into Pop's shoes if he would have worn that hat. So I love throughout this convention. In the end picture that I took with him, it's me wearing the Pop's Barbershop shirt that says "Always Forward," him pointing at it lovingly, wearing that hat.
Nice, nice.
Pretty sweet. Now, remember this little lady here. She's going to come back and be really important. This little lady here's got a fun story to tell. Okay, let's see. So, again, of course, Tony Isabella here. And let's see, just getting. Okay, so here's where I get revenge on the red shirts here, somewhat.
Oh, boy.
So, it's the last day, and again, I stood up to the one sketch art guy, and I was, you know what? I don't care what's going to happen. I go to see Trisha Helfner, and I see I see there's like a little there's a red shirt there, but it looks like a friendlier red shirt. And I just go there, and I'm stopped, and it says, "What are you doing?" I'm just gonna say hi, because again, Friday I go to see Trisha Helfner. I'm told by one of these red shirts. I'm told like I'm just gonna say hi. He says, "What are you, a friend of hers?" Like, well, no, I just wanted to meet her. and I'm told I'm shut down. This time, says, "Gonna say hi to Trish Helfner." Just, oh, okay, meet and greet. That's perfectly fine. It's like, that's perfectly fine. I go up to her. I say, hello. Congrats on this has been picked up by Netflix. I know you've been kind of written out of the show. I mean, if they do flashbacks or anything, it'd be kind of cool to see you there. She says, well, no, I don't think it's going to happen. I shook her hands. Says, oh man, it was nice to see you. That was a really nice little friendly conversation with Trisha Helfner, like I did with Finn Jones back then.
Uh-huh.
So then again, because I'm feeling it too, and you know what? Because I kind of I met a lot of the Arrow stars from a few years ago at the Comic-Con. I wanted to meet her, and you know what? It's the last day. I kind of splurged a little bit, and I went. I found out she had a selfie option, so I met with Katrina Law.
Nice, nice.
Here's the big Al Ghul connection. Katrina Law in Arrow played not Talia, but Ra's al Ghul's other daughter, Nisa, who is again just the Ra's al Ghul connection of it all there. But my God, Tiki, Katrina Law is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. And it was her birthday. By happenstance, I kid you not, it's like a cosmic universe thing here. By happenstance, you'll see Zach Levi and you'll see her there, her little party hat on. They both had a birthday on the same day. And I mean, like, their birthday is on the same day, and you'll see the red. And look at all the army of red shirts here. These are the red shirts, by the way.
Yeah, right.
They both have 2 cakes here, and it's nice. They threw them again. These red shirts, they can be nice, they can be incompetent. They're all over the place. Again, here they're all nice and throw them a little birthday party, and that's why in this photo here, Mike Coulter is kind of right here. See, there she is. Essentially, this is what I did with her. I got a selfie where I just got with my own camera. I got a picture with her like this, essentially, and it was her birthday. It's a happy birthday. How's it going? She was really nice. And Tiki, it's like we found Elektra's third sister. Essentially, she sounds like she's kind of like our parody of Elektra. I kid you not. She's like she's like the middle. I guess she's Elektra's the youngest. Elodie Young would be the youngest. Gal Gadot would be the eldest. She's the middle child essentially. If there's a hierarchy, she's really nice. She's put together. She's beautiful. She has the accent very much like the two of them. She's wonderful, and it was her birthday, and she's coding like she wore this pink sash. You can kind of see here it's like the birthday girl. Just I don't know, it was really cute and nice. She couldn't have been nicer. Also, I want to give you a little shout out here. I saw a cosplayer as John Hammond.
As John Hammond? Nice.
Yeah, when I was getting my picture. Again, I couldn't get a picture of him, but I was basically, I was in the line for Mike Coulter at the time. Okay, let's see. I think the last, here's, there was an R2-D2 there.
Nice.
That was like remote controlled, so it would actually go around and beep and everything. It's like the co-host from Disney Debates was actually there. Okay, and let me show you this. I mentioned I had 3 sketches done. So this sketch here, it's a little hard to make out. I know just bear with me here. Let me try to walk you through. So this is the sketch I had done by Dave Bullock. of Sandy. And what he did was something I did not expect. He didn't give me a sketch like I was expecting. What he did was he gave me a take on a character, which I think is even more rare. Like I described Sandy to him, a character he had never really heard of, and he kind of like approximated it. And what he did is it's unlike any of the other Sandy Brandberg sketches I've ever had done, Tiki. You'll see it's Sandy with the sword, and she has Deadpool on her shirt there, and she has a little thought bubble. He kind of went the extra mile and gave me multiple characters on this, which I did not expect. It's a little thought bubble of her and Dead, like she's having like a romantic fantasy of Deadpool, and Deadpool, this little thing. It's a tough gig, kind of over the top and funny, like Deadpool licking her. It's hilarious, and like her, she's all love and thought bubbles and everything. So it's her fantasy. It's kind of funny. And Spider-Man on the end here is saying, "I'm sick of this goof cutting in on my action." Of course, the spider sense, the web sling, and it's quite nice. It's really fun. I mean, Dave Bullock, he gave me something I wasn't expecting, which I think is really rare in art. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
And on the third artist, I kind of ran into this guy, and they have this very big masked area called Artist Alley, Tiki. And Artist Alley is basically full of these are the true grit artists, Tiki. These are the guys who make their bones by just doing good work. They're not backed by a big company. They're not Marvel. They're not DC, but they draw everything under the sun, and they pretty much live on the artwork they sell. These are the guys you wanted. These are the true blue artists. So one of these guys, and again, these are the guys every year. Like I'll go by. These are like kind of like the indie artist, if you will. They're the indie artist, and again, these are the guys who I will go to. And unless I'm really wowed by them, if I'm really wowed by them, I ask them to do the Sandy Brandenburg sketch. And there's this artist by the name of Eric Matos. Eric Matos is a really gifted artist. I see some really good things in that guy's future. He had some amazing pieces. I bought like a Kim Possible and a Winter Soldier print that he had, and I had him do a sketch of Sandy Brandberg. She did for like $30 or so. Again, it was a decent price for what he did here. And that sketch looks like this.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. And she's wearing the red dress like it was in one. She wore this in the comic too, which I really liked. And of course, working the Deadpool logo in the back there. It looks again really nice art style, right? And yeah, that's basically that's the last of the three sketches. I think I'm trying to see if there's anything I'm missing here. Okay, so I made my last purchases on the way out. Again, I scattered out. I basically you have a lot of price gouging, so people charging more than things are worth. So you really have to scatter out what the right price is and try to make some deals on your way out there. So I've been looking at Legos that I wanted and trying there multiple Lego booths. It's like a market. It's like a bazaar, if you will. So I got the Legos I wanted. I got all the Defenders like I wanted. I got Zurg from Toy Story. Lego version of Zurg because I have a Buzz Lightyear and I have Woody, so I got Zurg. I can't. It's like a thing, Tiki. It's like Batman the Animated Series and Zurg are like the things I can't resist. I got my father. He was there. We got Iron Man because he's like more skewing towards Cap. So I got Steve Rogers from Infinity War with the vibranium shield, with the Wakandan vibranium shield. I got Wasp from Ant-Man the Wasp to go with the Ant-Man that I had gotten in previous years, and I got just for good measure because I saw something there just kind of. That surprised me. It just wowed me. I couldn't find Saul Goodman, but what I did find was Walter White. And here's the thing that sold it for me, Tiki. It was Walter White with an accessory. And bear in mind, these are all custom Legos, which means they're kind of like they have cool accessories. They kind of have like they're not official Legos, but they're like really great little renderings of Legos. And
Sure.
Again, they work like Legos, and they have just better accessories. That's kind of the difference. So Walter White had a little. It looks like a little petri dish, but what it actually is, if you look closely, it's the fulminated mercury from season 1.
This is not meth.
It's essentially because it's white. It's not the blue meth. It's like white, so it's like either the fulminated mercury or it's just kind of the early stage of the meth when it's white. Also, I purchased the Marvel Legends Jessica Jones figure. I was looking for the Defenders and the Marvel Legends figures. I couldn't find Daredevil, but I did find Jessica Jones, so I got her too. So let me see. I think that'll take us to the end. There's again Katrina Law action there. Her and Mike Coulter. And this is cute, by the way. Look at this. Mike Coulter. They pranked each other. All the celebrities kind of pranked each other. So Mike Coulter posted his picture one of his prints, like one of the autographed pictures you can get. He put it right in front of her her sign, which is kind of cute. And there's birthday cake, and yeah, it takes us to the end there with Harley Quinn. So so in the end, I got all the important stuff signed. Didn't get everything signed. We got like 80, 85% signed, maybe at least 80. And here's the thing I'm gonna blow your mind with, is what I've been saving to the very end. You ready for it?
Is this the foot torture thing?
Yes, but real quick, there's one last thing I completely forgot about.
Okay.
When
I want to get to the foot torture thing.
Okay, we're gonna get that. I'm gonna end on that, but here's what I gotta tell you before.
Okay,
I have a crazy story. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you. Remember the Dave Bullock sketch?
Yes, yes.
So this piece, he did on like the biggest piece of sketch paper that I've ever seen. And again, throughout the 3 days, I had this top loader. This top loader, I find out at the end of Friday, there's a hole in it. And by Sunday, things are falling through the other side. So I put in like this plastic thing, like this plastic paper, and even like not plastic paper. I put in there's this plastic little it's like cellophane, like plastic cellophane little cover, like a bag, plastic cellophane bag. I don't know. Anyway, and then that gets a hole in it too by the end of Sunday. So I'm just basically holding it by its side at this point. So the point is, all I have is this top loader, and I don't have much room to improvise. And I basically realized that the piece is too big. And Dave Bullock does something it's something that, Tiki, you're not going to believe me if I tell you this, but Dave Bullock, he hands me a knife. He went on this whole Sicilian thing. Sicilians, he get into this whole Sicilian backstory thing of like a Sicilian never hands another man a knife. He put it on the table. I grabbed the knife, and he wanted me to cut the end of the piece off so it would fit. I had to. Yeah, no scissors. Essentially, it's a hunting knife that it's like one of those. It's like you fold the you fold the knife up, but it's like an artist using it works like an X-Acto knife apparently, but it looks exactly like a pocket knife that you'd flip up, So with his name on it, Dave Bullock or D Bullock, it's like written on the knife. Gives me this knife. I'm in the corner. It's like I'm hunting literally with a knife. I'm sawing off. Again, sanctioned by the art, so I feel like I'm not defacing the Mona Lisa. So that's the only solace I take in it.
Sure.
I have to using the top loader as like a measuring stick. I have to cut against it so I can basically not. It's not what creates the hole, but I have to use it as like a measuring stick so I can cut the thing. It's crazy. I'll put it back on the table, and it's like I never imagined getting a sketch where Dave Bullock would lead to this. So anyway, that's my little Dave Bullock story for us. Anyway, so getting to the end. So I'm home. Again, this is 3 days. So here's the thing's gonna blow your mind. Okay, so my father on Sunday, he has this thing. I think it's on his phone or something. Or it has this little thing that it's like it counts your steps. It's a step counter, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a step counter. So he tells me, again, this is him on one day, and I've been there for all 3 days. Okay. So one day, essentially, he walked in excess around, I'm going to round off here, walked 4 miles, which means.
Really believe it. I mean, I probably in excess of 8 miles every day I'm at Disney World.
So, okay, I might have to deal with this next part though. So here's the thing. So I walked roughly. I'm rounding down a little here. I walked roughly 12 miles. I walked 12 miles, right. And I stood. Again, I walked 12 miles when I was at that convention. There, I walked 12 miles when I was inside there. And I'm in fact like running back and forth and doing the Birdman thing. So I'm rounding up to say let's say it's 12 miles because it's at least close to 12 miles. I stood without sitting. I was only able to sit during that one panel for like basically. I'm taking an hour off of this, but bear in mind, even taking an hour off, Tiki.
How?
Bear in mind,
I'm God.
Wait till the end. I'm still going with it. Okay?
All right.
So here's on blowing Tiki's mind here, folks. So let me get to the. Sorry, let me just get to the.
You're right. This is making my feet bleed.
Okay, so. I walked 12 miles when I was there, back and forth, back and forth. Walked every inch of the convention center, and I didn't even go to the ballroom. It would have been longer if I had gone to the ball. If I'd taken see this Tiki, the celebrity thing is like on the very top floor. You have to take like a few escalators to get all the way up. I didn't have to do that.
Oh man. Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't. I didn't even do that. It's 12 miles just on the floor of the convention center, back and forth, and I was only able to sit during that Mark Tyler Nobleman Bill Finger panel, and that was out. So I'm rounding an hour off of this, but even rounding an hour off of this, I stood without while I was in that building. I stood collectively
Oh God.
25 hours
Oh
without
man.
food.
Oh, I could never do that. I could never
Let
do
me
that.
finish. Let me finish. Without food, without water, or sitting.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I don't know how you do that.
I swear, like 2 cookies in the morning. That was my breakfast
I mean,
each day.
at least in my marathons of at least in my marathons of Disney parks, there's plenty of stuff to eat. There's plenty of places to sit down. I mean,
Food is very overpriced at the cons, Tiki. You cannot trust me. You just do not want to do it.
I hear you. I hear you.
So at the end of the day, it was an ordeal. It had its ups, it had its downs, but it all worked out. So
Okay. All right. So yeah, thank you for regaling us with that, Dragon. Very it seems like you were very much focused on the art and the actual comics. I feel like last year was more kind of celebrity based, you know what I mean? Whereas this one, it was much more about getting into the roots of it all, getting into the comic culture. And I appreciate that. And my God, sir, I'll give you credit where credit's due. You know how to spin a trip report story better than I do. All right.
I
Any
hope it
final?
wasn't boring.
No, 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 it wasn't. It wasn't at all. I was engaged the whole way through. I promise you.
Well, it's another year at the Comic Con. I can't wait till next year. Hopefully Snyder and Capullo will be back after they finish their possibly final story. Last night. So that's the thing. Like I keep writing these thank you letters, and that's the thing. I even address at the top of those things. And I mean, just keep plugging the thank you letters. I'm just kind of proud of them. That's all. So because that's the thing. I've said, look, guys, I've written to you before, but I got to do it again because you've
Uh-huh.
turned out. This is basically after they wrapped up on like that 5 year run. The thing I really stress at the end of those letters, Steve. The thing I really want to stress, and the reason I kind of justify why do I really need to write? Should I write them another letter? Am I just kind of repeating the same things? It says, well, at the top of it, I'll just say, yeah, guys, I'm repeating the same thing, but it still remains true. And at the end, the thing I stress is that, guys, you had a 5 year run. And here's the thing, Tiki. At the end of their run, they had issue number 51. They did 50 comics together. And in issue 51 was this full circle thing where they after like essentially a story a year, Tiki, a story a year, five stories, 5 years consecutively. You don't get that in comics. That hasn't been done since the 70s with O'Neill and Adams. It hasn't been done in that long a time, and that's kind of what that was the first time I ever got into like kind of another iconic era in comics with those guys, and that story had an epilogue. Issue 51 was like the grand epilogue of it's a quiet night in Gotham, where they reflect on they go all the way back to referencing visual patterns from Court of Owls and all these little references to all the other stories that they've done. It goes completely full circle. And I kept saying, guys, I hope you realize how lucky you are that you got an ending. You were able to go for 5 years and be able to walk away with that and be able to have an ending. Rarely do you get an ending in a run of comics. Usually just it gets tossed up to the next guy in line, but they got an ending. That's the thing I kept stressing to them, and every year feels like it's going to be their last in what they do. I mean, they did something called Batman Metal, and that was just like it's like a little anniversary event practically. But this next thing they're going to do sounds like it's going to be it, and that's going to justify another letter. I know if I see him, I got to thank him for that one last ride. Like I said, guys, I know it's going to impress. It's going to be spectacular, and I hope to see him next year. I hope to see more of the Defenders. One of these days, I'm hoping for Tom Cavanaugh because they've had Flash actors, they've had actors from the CW. I'm hoping for Tom.
Oh yeah, that'd be a big one.
Even Matt Lyncher, the other guy who plays the Reverse Flash. Any of the Reverse Flashes, that's the one I'm pulling for in one of these years. If I can get Reverse Flash, I'll be a happy man. But it was a good year. It's gonna be. I know it's
All right.
gonna be fun.
Okay, and see you next time.
Take care.